What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Thirsty Thursday. It is a jam-packed full edition tonight. We've got Christmas time. We've got New Year's coming up. It's the second year anniversary of the Firewood at the Furnace YouTube channel. December 30th of 2020 is when I started the channel. So tomorrow will be our second birthday. We've got Andrew Easton here on the live stream tonight. So everybody welcome Andrew. I'm sure that a lot of the conversation this evening is going to revolve mostly around him. So any questions that you have that I'm not able to answer, this is the man right here that will have the plan. Welcome, Andrew.
Well, thanks for having me, Nate. I've wanted to be on the Firewood from the Furnace channel for so long now for Thirsty Thursday. You have no idea.
Oh, gosh. You had that plan, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. I've been saving that one up all day.
All right. So for those of you who are new here, my name is Brad. The Nate thing is a joke. And if you watch some of the videos, you'll find out why they call me Nate. But it's pretty funny because I think that name is sticking. I get that several times a week now. So there's a lot of people here already tonight. Shib's here. Tom Sherman, how are you doing? Circle B. William Klein. Obi's here. Dick from Old Guy Firewood. Ty Man. Tony from TC's Outdoors. Colleen's here. Michelle from SS Firewood, a whole bunch of you. So welcome to the chat. We'll start this up tonight, as we always do. And we are drinking Eagle Rare tonight, my favorite. So we'll go ahead and give a pour here and say welcome to everybody. Cheers. Oh, that's good stuff. So anyway, like I said, if you're new here, if you have a question, just put a big capital Q or several Qs in front of your question so that I can try to catch it in the chat. Taylor's not here with me tonight, so she's not going to be able to help me stay in line. So I'll do my best to keep up with the chat, and there'll be a lot of questions, I'm sure, coming up. But the elephant in the room, obviously, is the 1222 that is now here at the yard, and actually it's not at the yard. It's actually right here in the garage. I keep it warm. I don't like it to sit outside, but that's the elephant in the room. And as you saw, I have run it already and put the cherry through it the other day on Wednesday's video. And it's almost overwhelming for me to even describe or talk about how much of a difference this thing's going to make. The conveyor we had a little mishap with the conveyor, but that's all fixed up now. I did find the parts for that. So that's run again. I made a couple modifications, put some rubber in there to hopefully prevent that thing from jamming again. And you'll get to see that coming up real soon. We'll get the wood away from that machine and really push the wood through there to see how quick we can make firewood. All right. I did see a question just go by here. Joe Dodge Firewood from the Sawmill. Brad, how much have you split so far with the new splitter? Well, on video, I've split about 1.5 quarts, but I did split about another face quart or so the other day just to make sure that conveyor was going to work out the way I want it to, and so far, so good. So the next time I run the machine will be on video. And so we'll see how all that works out. Chris is here from In the Wood Yard. How you doing tonight, Chris? Glad you could make it.
And that's the one thing you're going to find with that too is with that conveyor, you're going to be so much more efficient than handballing it. It makes a world of difference. That's when you get into one of these commercial splitters, that's a big bottleneck, is actually moving the wood to and from it. So if you have the conveyor at the one end of it and it holds together for you, it's going to save you a pile of time.
Yeah, like I said in the video, I think if you don't have a conveyor, you definitely need a second set of hands.
Yeah, that's for sure. To make it efficient, you certainly do.
Hey, Skidder Kev's here. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you tonight.
Kev showed up. That's great.
I'm sorry.
There's a really good crew in here right now. That turned out great.
Yeah, Kev, I'm sorry that I got your partner in crime here on my live stream tonight, but he's still yours. I'm only taking him I'm borrowing him just for tonight. Hey,
Me and Kev will have to tee one up here too, because there's I think we're gonna there's gonna be some new things coming for the firewood processor end of it here too. So it'll be pretty exciting going into the spring for people that are looking for processors. That'll be good.
awesome. Here's a question for you, Andrew. How long do you recommend letting your splitters warm up before using them? Does the cold make a difference?
It does, yeah. Like obviously, if the oil's thick, it's gonna run slower. The biggest thing with it is making sure the fluid's warmed up enough that it can get past your relief valves. With the splitters, they're pretty forgiving. Like you're not gonna max out the pressure on one. Like the engine will normally snuff out before you actually would do any damage to the machine. But normally we would let them run for probably 10 or 15 minutes, and even at night, I'll just cycle it a couple of times. You'll be able to feel the hoses to see if they've gotten warmed up enough. So.
Yeah, I'd do the same thing. I probably let things warm up a little longer than they need to, but I'd rather be safe than sorry, even with the saws and stuff too. Hey, Chuck's here from Iron and Oak, another good one. Back 40. Dan is in the house, Shifty. Hey, while Dan's here, I'm going to do something real quick. So I hope you all don't mind. I'm going to hold your questions just for a few minutes, because on last month's Thirsty Thursday live stream, Dan was really giving me a hard time about how slow I was drinking the bourbon. And I was drinking that Willet pot still bourbon, and I had never had it before, and I opened it up on last month's live stream, and I didn't like it, but I had to suffer through it because that was my pick for the night. and Dan really gave me a hard time on there, told me that I was nursing it and wasn't drinking very well. So the following night on his Friday night live stream, he kind of took a shot at me, and I got pretty thick skin from a career in law enforcement and fire department. I can handle a lot of stuff, but he decided to introduce the new firewood at the furnace shot glass, and he threw it up on the screen, and it looked like this, and it was a baby bottle that he put my branding on, saying that it was a shot glass. Well, I do have something to show you all tonight. There officially now are official firewood at the furnace shot glasses. So that thing that Dan showed you on his live stream was wrong. And if he would like to have one of these, I'll gladly send him one. But the firewood at the furnace shot glasses are available now. And also, he sent me one of his brand new merch items that I wanted to unveil to everyone here tonight on the live stream. And it's the official drink mixing kit for the Back 40 Firewood channel. So you can order this off of his website, back40firewood.com. And this is the official Back 40 Firewood drink mixing kit. So there's directions on the back of this of how to use it. It's the official Shifty drink mixing kit. And we're going to do a little demonstration on how this works. So the first thing that the directions say you need to do is you have to get a glass of your choice. And you have to fill it with ice and pack it as tightly as possible. And next, you fill it up with a soda of your choice. So let's go ahead. It's full of ice. I'm going to fill it with Coke. That's the soda of choice tonight. So let me fill this up. Let the fizz settle out here. Sorry about this. I was going to wait a little while to do this, but Dan just showed up, so we're going to go ahead and do it. The directions say to fill it all the way to the top. So now if we look at the directions, we have to open it up now. So let's open up the official Back 40 Firewood drink mixing kit. It's packaged very well. Dan, you did a good job on packaging. So we take out the item, and it says to grab the Captain Morgan, which we have here, to fill up the mixing kit. All right. And it says to add 1 to 3 drops. 1, 2, 3. So that might be a little hot. And now it says that will give you the ideal mix to drink like Shifty in the Back 40 Firewood channel. So let's try it. That tastes just like Coke.
Real smooth.
So that's new. Dan unveiled that. So back to the chat now. I'm way behind, I'm sure. But if anybody's interested in that, that's his new merch item. Hey, Rachel, how you doing? Rachel's here. Jeffrey's here. I'm going to catch up. Here we go. Donald Slate, did you use the log tongs yet? No, but I talked to that lady the other day about that cherry log that's in her backyard, and I'm supposed to go get that either this weekend or early next week. So they will be getting some use here very soon. Just trying to get caught up in the chat here. WD30's here. Daniel Atkins is here. Craig Wilson. Chuck's got a question. The Great White North is well represented tonight. Indeed it is, Chuck. Lots of people here. 134 people in the chat right now. Andrew is being passed around like a bag of chips.
I just wish it wasn't with a bunch of woodhounds.
Yeah. Yeah. Here's a question from Jason. Andrew, are you in the process of making a box wedge for Chris to make smaller pieces?
On his processor, I can't do that. Yappa has a patent on that, on the box wedge for, like Joe's, I think it's Joe's got a 405 or 435 Yappa with a perfect split on it. So Yappa actually has a patent on that. That being said, I have seen people get pretty creative with these. We have one fellow in Massachusetts that bought a box wedge, cut it apart, put it on his processor, and made a pullback arm for it, and it works. It works really, really good. That guy in Massachusetts, he has a 60C, and he always does really big stuff. And he bought one of our box wedges, cut the top off, welded onto another wedge, and put it all together, and it works really, really great for him. So it can be done. I'm just not allowed to do it.
Wow. I'd like to see that. Does he have a channel?
No, but if you're on any of the Facebook groups, the guy's name is Dave Zagwin he's in Massachusetts somewhere, but he did a really nice job on it. It looks factory. Like he had to like put in the comments, I built this. So
keep you out of trouble, right?
I'll see if I can even pull it up here. Give me a second.
All right. So I saw somebody else go by here saying hello. I don't know where. Oh, Firewood on the Hill is here. How you doing tonight? Glad to see you made it. Log Hauler says hello. What's going on? I'm way, way, way behind on the chat here. That little skit that I just did really messed me up. I try to keep up with the chat. I know Kev likes to check on every comment, but it gets way far behind, and then you start answering questions that were asked 10 minutes ago. So I'm finally getting into the area where I did my skit. So I'm going to scroll on through here. Dan had a counterfeit shot glass, Chuck said.
Yeah, I can't find it. That's too bad. I'd love to show it to you. It works. It worked really, really, really good. I thought I would have had an email of it, but I can't even get it onto Facebook on my laptop. We have this company that looks after all of our servers and stuff at work, and for some reason, Facebook is a bad website now. So I got to get them to fix that for me.
Hey, we got a super chat from WD30 for the shipping on that shot glass. All right, Will, shot glass coming your way. Speaking of that, too, last month on the live stream, we did the 6K giveaway, and we got so carried away with all of that and everything that was going on that we forgot to give away the monthly whiskey glass or beer mug. So we're going to be giving away 2 of those tonight. So that's all trivia questions. If you watch the channel and you watch the videos, you should be able to answer the question. You got a chance to win. Richard, coffee is absolutely acceptable, my friend. Whatever your drink of choice is, you're here in the chat enjoying the camaraderie and the community. So if coffee is your choice, have at it, my friend.
Is it a double from Tim Hortons, though? That's the question.
Yeah, the Tim Hortons coffee I've not had. I heard you talking about that on Kevin's live stream. I've never had that.
Never had the Tim Hortons coffee.
No.
That's like a delicacy up here in Canada, just like a poutine. It's like a national treasure.
Everybody I've talked to said that it's the best. Another question for you, Andrew. Did you put out a deer hunting video after you were up at your land, and did he miss it?
No, I never ended up putting one up. We never. This is the first year that we've never shot any deer. Normally we're pretty selective now. Like we used to shoot kind of whatever came out to us, and we've started to get a lot more selective now. And we had lots of good chases, lots of good runs, but no big deer. So we never got any footage of it. And I've got I guess the season is over on Saturday. Bow season's over on Saturday, so it's I don't even think I'm going to make it out again for bow. We've been really busy at shop here the last month or two, so I've hardly even made it bow hunting.
We get to hunt through January here, but me and Brady have been out a few times, and we've seen some deer. We've let some doe walk. We had a scrappy little 5-pointer walk right under our stand last time we were out and let it go, but we haven't shot anything this year yet either. How
are the antlers when you get into January? Do you have a hard time with them falling off, or not too bad?
Yeah, in January they're getting ready to drop.
Like I know lots. I know guys that have shot deer here and like late in the season, like this time of year, and like go and grab hold of the horns. They pull them off their head.
Yeah. Oh, Dan said 3 drops only if you want to live dangerously.
Walking on the wild side.
Tully's Woodshed, how you doing? Question: when does Scheib get his 1222? Is Scheib getting a 1222, Andrew? I saw your video there, and you were kind of doing his intro, but I think I saw his name on the tag.
Doing that. I had so much fun doing that. It took me a couple of tries to get it because I wanted to try and get like the Scheib demeanor and everything in there.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Don's on here tonight. I don't know if anybody's been talking to him or not, or he probably has a better idea than I do. I think it was still in the yard last week. So whether he gets it next week, I'm not quite sure, but it should be fairly soon.
Yeah, I guess you try to group those shipments out to where they're all going to the same kind of direction, right?
Yeah, we do that. Like when we do the schedule, because we're far enough out, we group everything by zip code. So once we get like 7 or 8 in like a general area, we'll go to like the next area sort of thing. And it saves a lot of screwing around on our end for freight, and that's why we kind of give people a roundabout time frame on them.
Yeah, just
so we can do that.
Chuck wants to know if it's possible to run the 9-way box on the 1222, or is that only for the 2228?
The biggest one we have is a 7-way box wedge. The pizza box wedge that we have is still a 7-way. It's just the blades are spaced narrower on it. So it gives you like a piece of wood that's like a 2x2 sort of thing. But it can run on a 1222. It's just you have to have really nice wood with it. If the wood's punky at all, it doesn't like it, or knots. It really doesn't go through them very well. It's got to be nice looking wood.
Rachel said Heath's at work tonight, so I guess he's not in the chat, but Rachel's here, and I think that's the only reason people watch his channel anyway. No, I'm just kidding, Heath. I hope you're watching at work, my friend. Yeah. Hey, this is a good one too. It's not a question, but Todd Lacey said that he loved your Christmas employee video. It says a lot about your company.
Oh, I had a blast putting it together too. It was probably one of the funnest videos I've put together because when I'm piecing it together, there's so many pieces to it, and you get to see everybody saying Merry Christmas. I had a blast doing it. We had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I guess maybe at the Woodsman Days up in New York, are we going to have a cornhole tournament or what?
Oh, we're going to have to. We're planning on bringing them around to all the shows.
Yeah, man, that'll be fun.
And it was really, like, this video was really good because I literally got every single person that works for me in the video. I don't think I
Wow.
missed anybody.
That's great. And I forget his name, Jim, I think, that you said has a radio voice. He
Yeah, he
should be like a
does.
narrator. He could be a narrator on the National Geographic Channel or something.
Oh, he could for sure. He looks after all the plant maintenance. He's a really, really good millwright. He actually one of the big factories in town closed down, and we actually got a lot of the guys from, it was Grenville Casting, a big casting plant in town. We got a lot of the employees from there. We got really lucky that we got as many good people as we did there. We probably have a dozen people from there, maybe.
Wow.
And
I would
Jim,
imagine
Jim was one of them. Really nice guy.
I would imagine that your retention is pretty good.
Yeah, we don't normally have. I think I only had one. I think I only had one person quit, or two people quit on me ever. I had one guy quit. He came. He was a mechanic. He was working for the city of Ottawa, and it was last year, probably about a year and a half ago. He came and worked for me, and it was because they were making him get a COVID shot. So he worked for me for probably 7 or 8 months doing the processor thing. Really good mechanic, and then I guess they got hard up for mechanics, so they called him back.
Yeah, I got a lot of friends that left their jobs, most of them in the healthcare industry, that, over that whole vaccination thing. But yeah, I don't know if you have the same problem in Canada that we have down here, but there's still a lot of people that just would rather not work. So finding good help is still hard to do.
Yeah, and it's kind of strange too, because I think like everybody that I know is working. That's kind of the scary part of that is, and then the people that don't work, they just seem to get a bigger cut of the pie now. They never worked before. They're just getting a bigger cut of it.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's tough because, I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole, but yeah, I do a lot of the hiring at my part-time job with our drivers for the dump trucks, and the government has just passed a law this past February where you can no longer learn how to drive a truck, from your dad or your grandfather or a friend of yours. You actually have to go to a certified professional training class now to even qualify to take the test to get your CDL.
Yeah, we did that. That happened here about 3 or 4 years ago. You can't even get called an AZ up here. You can't even get your AZ without going to school for it.
Yep. Hey, there's Shibe right there with a super chat. Raise your glasses, fellas. Cheers, my friend. Thank you so much, buddy. You don't have to do that, but I appreciate it.
And we haven't had too bad of a time with finding people either. I've been really lucky to have. I tend to get a lot of really good guys coming to the shop. Like we pay really well, and our hours are good. Like what we find is a lot of the guys that are welders and fabricators and mechanics are that are mature, that would be my age. A lot of them worked on the road their whole life, right? And now they have families and stuff. They kind of need to have a consistent time they're home at, and know they're off on the weekends and stuff like that. So it's very attractive for a lot of really, really skilled labor, and we're lucky to have guys that are as skilled as we have in the buildings. We have a really good group of tradespeople there.
Yeah, that's awesome. Hey, there's Martin. I want to say hello to Martin from Quebec. I haven't seen this name in the chat here before, but welcome to the live stream. How far are you from Quebec, Andrew?
Me? Oh, I'm not far. I'm depending on which way I drive, 40 minutes. We're just outside of Quebec. Ottawa's Ottawa and Gatineau kind of connect there. Ottawa and Quebec, and the Ottawa River separates Ontario and Quebec, and you can cross it lots and lots of places where I am.
Gotcha. There's Heath right there saying hello. So he must be watching from work. How you doing, my friend? Question from Mr. Scuba. Did you give any serious consideration to moving one arm down to the far end of the processor so you can drop the short logs in sooner?
Far end of the processor. It's pretty well as close to the it's as close to the saw as you probably want to get it. And the live deck on the processor, it's spaced. I think the first set of legs are 40 inches, and the next set of legs are 80 inches. So like if you're doing 4s and 8s, like if you're doing smaller stuff, and it's pretty well. The front leg is just about the very back of the splitter, so that's kind of why we have it set up like that. So we're just back from the splitter a little wee bit. Once you get running it and you're handy on it, you drop another log right in behind the other one. It's not a big deal at all once you get onto it.
Oh, Firewood on the Hill, congrats to 2 years. Enjoy the channel. Thank you so much. Chris says, Andrew, he knows a guy who did the same thing with the box wedge on his 48C, and he's going to make a video of it soon. So we'll get to see it there on Chris's channel, maybe.
I think you'll see a lot of guys doing it. He's like, on our end of it, it's a fairly simple thing to do on our end of it. Like for somebody to fab that up and make it work on the machine is very, very easy to do. It's not hard to do at all.
Here's a common question I'm sure you get a lot. Are we still about a year out on splitters?
Yeah, we're about that far. I think right now, as per our schedule, we're booking into like mid-September, late September, but we're telling guys here anyways, just for the sake of if something screws up with the supply chain or whatever. We'd rather be ahead of you than be a month behind you, sort of thing.
So if you get it early, you can be excited. You don't have to worry about being disappointed because it's not going to be later than that most of the time.
That's exactly. We'd rather under promise and over deliver.
I like it. Oh, here's a question that you're going to get opposite answers for from me and Andrew. Good evening, Brad and Andrew. Currently, I run a 661 with a 36-inch bar. Considering buying a 500i, opinions on running a 36-inch bar. Well, first of all, I'm a steel guy. Andrew's a Husky guy, and he likes the shorter bars. I am trying my hand at the longer bars. Andrew's a tall guy. I'm a tall guy, and I'm trying to get used to running the longer bar. It has its advantages and disadvantages, but I think it's more of a personal preference. What do you think, Andrew?
Honestly, I think it is too. And like if you're set up in a situation where you can lift the logs and have them at like waist height, that's the difference in it too. Like the long bar is really nice if you're not like if you're pucking on the ground, if you're doing that kind of stuff. Where I find you get a lot better performance out of a smaller bar just because you're not spinning as much chain. But again, biggest thing with chainsaw is having it sharp.
I will tell you though the 500i is comparable power with a lot less weight than that 661. So you're not going to go wrong with the 500i for sure. And then whatever bar you decide to run, is personal preference. Super chat from Craig Wilson. Cheers to a new year. Yes, sir. Happy New Year, Craig. Glad you're here, my friend. You're always on the channel, always commenting. I appreciate the support, my friend. All right, so let me see here. We talked about the conveyor. We talked about me forgetting to give away last month. Let's do this. I told you in the video a few weeks ago that I might give away a pair of boots on the channel. So let me get caught up in the chat right here before we do this. Make sure I'm not missing any questions. There's one right there. What bow does Andrew Easton shoot from WD-30?
I have a holy fuck, that's terrible, eh? how do you draw a blank like that?
PSE, Hoyt.
Well, my compound's a PSE, and I like it, and then I have an Excalibur. Fuck, that's terrible, eh? An Excalibur crossbow. I wish I could. I don't shoot the compound enough. I don't have the time to shoot the compound enough to be that confident in it with it. But I tried for turkeys there last year with it, and I only made it out a couple times. I only have so much time in a day, right? So, but yeah, with the compound, I can normally group them pretty tight at 30 yards. So I think if I had to go out and shoot a deer with one, I'm sure I probably could. Just with the crossbow, you pull the trigger and it's it's bang on.
Yeah, so I always shot a compound bow. I had a Hoyt, and then when they changed the law here several years ago, it used to be you could only shoot a crossbow if you had like a shoulder injury or some kind of physical disability. But they changed the law here to where anybody can shoot a crossbow, and it was kind of like, for a while, if you were using a crossbow and you didn't need it, it was kind of you got a hard time from some guys. But
yeah, for sure.
But I've switched over to a 10-point crossbow, and I've been using that the last couple seasons. And just having the extra confidence when you're sitting in the stand, I think, is a big deal too.
Yeah, I almost bought a 10-point when I looked at my Excalibur. There was a local spot here that sold them, but I think the jump up to I can't remember what the big 10-point was worth when I priced them out. And I think the other thing too was the 10 points are compound, eh?
Yeah.
And me being me, I'd screw that up somehow. I know I would. I have strings wrapped up somehow.
Jeffrey says in New York they have a C1 permit. If you see one, you shoot it. All right. We're almost caught up here in the chat, and then we'll do this with the boots. So, maybe we're not almost caught up in the chat. It keeps refreshing. Are there any discounts offered tonight if you order a splitter tonight? I think he's so backed up right now, he's just trying to get caught up.
That's what we're trying to do, yeah.
Another super chat from Dan. Back 40 firewood. Congrats, 2 years on the tube. Now take 3 drops. Cheers, Dan. Yeah, man, 2 years flew by. Dan was one of the big reasons I even started the channel. He's one of the first ones that I started watching. He puts a tremendous amount of time and effort into his channel, doing a live stream every single Friday night. I don't think my wife would let me get away with that.
It's a pile of work, and that's one thing that I think a lot of people that don't understand doing the YouTube thing, how much work it is to do it. And like normally on a Thursday night, I normally try and put a video up Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I ended up playing golf this morning with a bunch of guys out in the shop, and then we had my father-in-law's birthday dinner, so I never even got a chance to edit my Thursday night video. And it's a 2-year anniversary for me for Briggs Engines.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
So it might have to go up tomorrow night.
So 2 years for Briggs Engines. And Honda, I guess, is still having problems with supplies, right?
Yeah, I honestly don't know. I haven't taught the Honda rep for quite a while. 6 or 7 months ago, they were still having a really, really hard time. They were like, even Honda wasn't guaranteeing. I don't know whether because we're in Canada, we're kind of on the back burner for a lot of that stuff for getting supplies. But with the Vanguard stuff, we've been
good.
really, really good.
Ken, how long till the proper linkage arrives for the Ram splitter? So I talked to Ken through email. The problems that I've been having with the wedge. I know Andrew's followed that pretty closely, but they're telling me now that they changed the design, but they forgot that they changed the design, and that now they're going to send me new linkage for underneath the splitter, the mechanism that raises and lowers the wedge.
Oh, that makes sense.
Well, I don't know if that's still going to work or not, because what's going to happen, because the bottom of that 4-way is shorter, if they're sending me new linkage, it's still going to drive that wedge up higher into the beam. And I think you're going to end up having a problem when you're pushing a log that wedge is going to pop out, because there's nothing that holds it like on your design.
Yeah, that'll probably one thing you'll run into. And that's why we don't, like when we did the early Bell's processors, we didn't have, it was the same as there was nothing that hooked into the wedge, and it was a real pain. It's not so bad running a splitter like that, but when you're running a processor like that, you need to have that hydraulic pressure to pull it back down, right?
Right.
And we went through probably, I would say, half a dozen different designs for the boomerangs. But when I changed them that every one of them would replace the other sort of thing, so you wouldn't need to worry about that. But I had a hell of a time the first 2 years that we were building building splitters. with different designs and having them hold together and work. The ones that are on there now, I don't, we haven't had a failure on one in years and years, but it was definitely a tricky thing to get that right to the point that everything lined up and worked and didn't bend and break and bust and explode.
Yeah, well, that was one of the things that I had considered doing when they sent the wrong wedge to begin with, was just, maybe welding a little spacer on the end of that push arm that pushes it up in the splitter. But my fear of that was just what I just described, that if it's going to push it up higher in that beam, and every once in a while you get a funky log and it gets under there and pushes up on that wedge, it's going to pop it out, and that creates a dangerous situation, I think.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see what this new linkage is going to look like. They said they're sending it, but I don't have a whole lot of faith in it. I mean, they don't know my name. They don't know my address. They don't know the name of my channel. So why would they know how to fix my splitter?
Well, we follow you really close here at Eastimate, Nate, I'll tell you.
Yeah. Tooley's Woodshed, you came in late. The bourbon of choice tonight for the second anniversary of the YouTube channel, Christmas, New Year's, the whole 9 yards, is my favorite. Eagle Rare. You can't go wrong with the bald eagle. You know how near and dear that is to me. So that was the obvious choice for the night. Oh, gosh. All right. The boots. What I want everybody to do right now. Well, let's get to the super chat real quick. Northeast Firewood, you guys are great. I'm glad you're having a good time. This whole community is great. Everybody in this chat right now makes this all happen and makes it a great time. So thank you very much for that. Oh, gosh, I keep thinking I'm caught up, and then when I get to the bottom, it refreshes. Am I going to hire someone to help run the 1222? Deb is not available to hire, though. Well, I've been trying. This is a serious, I'm being totally 100% serious when I say this. I have been had sit down talks with my 2 children in the past week a couple times, in negotiations with them of how much I can pay them to stack firewood for me, because I never minded stacking firewood. I would split that little yard trailer of mine. It would be about 1/3 of a cord, and then I'd drive it over and stack it, then come back and split again. But I don't want anything to do with stacking anymore. I just want to split wood. So if I can get my kids to stack for me, that's my latest plea to my children, is to try to get them over there just to stack wood. So we're in negotiations right now, and we'll see if we can work that out. Firewood on the Hill with a super chat. Congrats on 2 years. We enjoy your channel. Thank you, sir. There's Saw Surgeon right there. Thank you, Brad, for hosting Mr. Easton tonight. Glad to see you here, Ted.
Yeah, great. Thanks for coming out, Ted.
And I want to thank, while he's here, I want to thank everybody that actually mailed me a Christmas card this year. Ted was one of them. Jeff and Patty were one of them. Rolando was one of them. There were several others, but I'm guilty just as much as anybody else. When I was a kid, I remember getting Christmas cards at my parents' house, and we would line the banister up going up the stairs with all the Christmas cards. And I don't think a whole lot of people send Christmas cards anymore. So when you get them, it's kind of cool. So thank you all for that. All right. Another question for you, Andrew. Any insight on pricing? Are you seeing any pricing relief?
On our end of it, the price of steel has gone down a wee bit on our end of it, but we're still playing catch up from. We had machines that were the stuff that we're building right now was priced last year, so we still have another year's worth of pricing. You probably won't see the price of the splitters move a whole lot the next year. I don't think. You may see the processors go up a little bit, but the splitters, I think they're going to stay kind of where they are.
Yeah, I don't think anything's coming down quite yet. I had to run up to the steel liquidator store today to pick up some aluminum diamond plate for my company that I work for, and it was a 5-foot by 10-foot by 1/4 inch piece of aluminum diamond plate, and it was $630.
Oh yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah. Backyard Firewood with a super chat. 1222 beer fridge fun. So there's a little inside information there. Cheers. Everybody's telling me now that I'm not going to be home to split firewood, and it's going to be so easy now that I'm going to have to mount a refrigerator on the side of the splitter because I don't have to work nearly as hard anymore.
You'll find if you pull the owner's manual out of that canister, you'll be able to fit about 3 beer in that thing and keep them nice and cool.
Yeah, I think Joe from Ohio Wood Burner, he puts Dr. Peppers in it, doesn't he?
Yes, Joe will slip the hot Dr. Pepper in there, yeah.
Andrew, what's the hardest parts to source for machine production right now?
Kubota engines. They've been not Kubota. Kubota's fine. Like our supplier, the Kubota supplier, is very difficult to deal with. You'll actually see a switch back to Cat in May. We put in the last PO for Kubotas just last week, and that'll be enough to get us through till May, and then we're going to be switching to Cat for the big engines. We may even switch Cat for the small engines. I'm not quite sure yet.
Well, there you go. Insider information. You heard it here first. No more Kubotas switching to Caterpillar.
That's the truth, and it's not honestly. It's nothing to do with Kubota. Just the supplier that we have for them is they're very, very, very difficult to deal with. They don't seem to care if you sink, swim, or die. It's just not a very good situation there. So
here you go, Andrew. Bill Irwin wants to know if your folks are back to work yet, or are they still off? He wants to order a splitter next week.
They'll be back on Monday. We'll be back to work on Monday. We've been off this week. I've been doing a little bit of service work here and there through Facebook and stuff for guys that need it, but for the most part, we're completely off there this week and back at her on Monday.
So I don't know if Bill's coming to New York for the Woodsman's Days in August, but he brings some clear fluids for us to drink. Had him at the Paul Bunyan show. And so if he's coming, you'll have to try that out, Andrew. Which machine are you thinking about ordering, Bill? Curious to know. And I hope you're coming to New York. I'd like to hang out with you again. We had a good time in Ohio. All right, so let's get to these boots. I want everybody to type in the chat what size boot you personally wear. Tell me what size boot you wear in the chat. So J&B Lawn Care, yes, he answered that question a little bit earlier. He's still about 12 months out. Super chat from Joe's Firewood Videos. Joe, I just finished my bourbon and my firewood at the furnace glass. Team Blue, Team Orange, Ultra, as long as Mike doesn't flip it on the road again and Saw Surgeon does the routine maintenance. Should be good for years.
Well, I'm hoping. So I was really hoping when we got hooked up with the Joe, I was hoping he put her to the test. He's been doing a great job of it. So
he put it to the test. He certainly put it to the test, Andrew.
I hope Joe gets feeling better too.
Yeah,
I haven't been following Joe's channel, but I hope Joe. I really hope you're doing well, brother. I'd love to hear that.
Yeah, so I hope they're getting him figured out. And also Michelle, SS Firewood, she just had a tragedy the other day. She lost some family members, 2 adults, and I think 4 children in a house fire perished in that fire. And there's a GoFundMe page for that family. I just can't imagine that devastation. My heart and my prayers go out to you, Michelle, if you're still in here. I just can't imagine. Another super chat from Dick, Old Guy Firewood. Congrats on 2 years, Brad. I love your channel. Have a great deal of respect for you, and thanks for being a big reason I started my own channel. Cheers. Well, I've told you this before, Dick, and let's do this first. Cheers. I'm a big believer in paying it forward. People helped me out when I started my channel, and things were pretty rough and slow going in the beginning. And there was a lot of guys in this chat right now that helped me out. So if I can help somebody out just a little bit, then I feel like it's my duty to do that. And you got a great channel. You got a natural knack for talking to the camera. So just keep at it, my friend. You're going to do well. Chris says he shoots a real bow, but he wants a Raven. I don't know what a Raven is.
Crossbow.
Oh, crossbow. Okay. Am I looking to sell the ram splitter? That's a question that's been coming up a whole lot. Yes, I'm probably never going to run that machine ever again. I want to get that thing squared away with ram splitter. I feel like I'm up to here with it, but I've gotten this far, and I would like to get it squared away for whoever's going to want to run that machine. I don't want to be left in limbo if I get rid of it and they're still trying to work out the kinks. So when all that settles out, I will be getting rid of the ram splitter. So more to come on that eventually.
Hey, Stacy, Dub says hello.
Yeah, Brad says hello too, Stacy. Why don't you just send the ram splitter a pic of the 1222? Problem solved. You know, it's funny because when I first started dealing with ram splitter, I think the first thing that I needed from them was the shims for the rail. And actually, I'll show you those. Give me 1 second. Andrew, it's all yours for a minute.
Oh, no. Who else is on here?
So, wrong side here. So, Andrew, you can tell them about how your machine is constructed with the replaceable brass fittings or brass pieces, right?
Yeah.
And how thick are they?
They're 1 inch by 2 inch.
Yeah, so they're pretty beefy, right?
They're heavy. They're very, very heavy. Yeah.
So this is what ram splitter sent me when I needed to replace the pieces on mine.
The fuck is that?
They're plastic. It's like a piece of.
It's fucking soft. It's soft plastic, though.
Yeah, it's a piece of plastic, and it's got holes drilled in it, and that's what the bolts go through that hold the ram on. And they said, "Hey, we'll send you 2 sets." So this is the extra set I have. Yeah, so that was the first thing they sent to me, and I thought that they were following my channel because they wanted me to show a video of it, and I know they've sold quite a few splitters, at least 4 or 5 that I know of, based on people watching my channel.
I'm really surprised that they'd run we use for the bottom and top sides. On the splitters we use a material that's called phenolic, so it's like a wood-based product. It's very easy to get your hands on. It's not expensive stuff at all, and then it has the brass on the sides of it, and it wears a long time, and then on the processor, just brass all the way around it, just because the processor cycles so much more, and they just cycle more, right? So the brass is a little bit more durable. But I don't know why you'd even go down a route like that. You're saving pennies on something that doesn't make any sense.
Well, I mean, you can say it with anything you talk about. You kind of get what you pay for, and it's a budget machine.
Yeah, that's true. You're absolutely right. If you're selling it for that kind of a price, you kind of got to pinch the penny somewhere, right? So,
I would say it's a step up from a big box store machine, but I mean, like I said, you're going to get what you pay for, and if they're building stuff like this, what's the rest of the machine?
I honestly think they'd be a great setup for somebody doing like a load of logs a year.
Yeah.
It'd be fine. It'd be fine for somebody that wasn't doing a great deal of wood or a great volume of wood. But once you start doing more than that, once you start doing any volume of firewood, you have to have something that's going to be durable for you.
Yeah. So, like I was saying in the beginning, I was pretty sure that they were following my channel because, they sent me the outfeed table. They had never made that before. It was a prototype, and I kind of helped them, talked them through what I wanted and how I wanted it to work. So they sent me that, and I thought they were following along with the channel, and they just don't seem to. I don't know if they don't understand the amount of people that are seeing what I'm putting out or what, but it hasn't been a good look for sure. Super chat from Martin. He says, glad I finally got to catch your live broadcast. I was thirsty too. Well, have a drink, my friend, and cheers. Is that the same Michelob Ultra you've been drinking all night, Andrew?
Yes.
Oh, gosh.
The good news is they're Michelob Ultras. They're not a real beer, so it's not. I've got to watch my figure, eh?
I drink some Michelob Ultra on occasion. It's not a bad beer.
Oh, I don't mind it at all, actually.
What do you think about the Miller Lite that you had the other day at the end of that video?
I'm not a big Miller Lite fan. I'm not a Miller Lite's a Pilsner, I think. I'm not a big Pilsner fan.
Yeah, I'm not a big Miller Lite fan.
I really like lagers. I like stouts. I've never liked Pilsners. I don't like IPAs really.
Gosh, I am so far behind in this chat. I haven't even gotten to the boot sizes yet. Are you keeping up with the chat, or are you back where I am?
I'm just looking at the screen. I don't even know what's going on. I'm a size 11 and a half.
11 and a half. Iron and Oak Sawmill, super chat. 2 years of a great channel, and Andrew for the best splitters on the market. Absolutely.
Thanks, Chuck and Deb.
Did you see that ash they were putting through that machine the other day? Was that some beautiful firewood or
what?
what?
It was great. I posted up to my Facebook page, and it was some nice stuff. And it's really fun running a box when you get into nice stuff like that because it makes such pretty firewood when you're done with it.
All right, here we are to the boot sizes. All right, let me back up here to the beginning. Right here we go. Brandino 451 was the first one that said size 11. And Brandino, you're the winner of a pair of boots because what happened was High C sent me the wrong pair the first time they sent them to me. So size 11 is what I have here, and they told me that I didn't have to send them back just to give them away to somebody on the channel. So these are the boots that you're getting. They're size 11s. I mean, I can tell you they're pretty comfortable because I've been wearing them every day over my Timberlands. My Timberlands have been sitting in the closet now because I like the High C's better so far. I don't know how long or how well they're going to hold up, but they are comfortable. So Brandino 451, what I need you to do is send me an email to firewood@thefurnace@gmail.com with all of your shipping information, and I will get those boots in the mail to you. So congratulations. Looks like there's a few 11s here, but he was the first one to show up in the chat. So let me get through all this here. Wow, a lot of comments for the Joe Gilbert. He wrote 14, then he wrote 13. Maybe he's got 1 foot bigger than the other. Chris, 17 EEE. 203 people in the chat right now. Tony from TC's Outdoors. He wants to know, Andrew, what's the best machine for a small one-man operation?
It really depends on what your budget is and what options you want, honestly. Like the Ultras work fantastic if you have a tractor or something you lift the rounds up with. The Ultra is as fast of a machine as you're going to buy. 511, 916, and Axis is really nice. 1222. We have guys. Honestly, it's completely and totally what your budget is and what you want to. What options you want on it. Any of the machines will work well for you and may make your life a lot easier. And that goes for any of these commercial splitters, whether you're looking at mine or somebody else's. They're all going to be a huge difference for you.
Yeah, so, I mean, Joe runs a pretty good operation with the Ultra, and just the cycle time on that machine, I think, makes a huge difference. Another super chat from Bent Wedge Stanley Brand. Thank you, sir, for the super chat. I greatly appreciate it. I hope you're enjoying yourself here tonight. And we got another question from Johnny. Why not a Dutz diesel engine?
Well, we know the Deutz, we can get them, but the lead time on the Deutz is incredibly long right now. Like I think the Deutz lead time was like 60 weeks or something. It was a crazy long lead time, and that's more or less the biggest reason why we didn't go with Deutz. The pricing was right on them, and I really like the guys that were the resellers of them. Like we've already had a really long relationship with CAD. The biggest reason we left them is because of management on their end of it, but I think they've gotten a lot better. They've hired a lot of good people at the distributor for CAD to do a proper job, and I think we're at a point now where we're building the machine over and over again, where we're able to take an engine like that and be able to do well with it now.
So Kevin says, Brad, when can I help you split some wood to see the new splitter? And I think you're probably the 6th or 7th person that have reached out to me wanting to come run the splitter or see the splitter. So I think what I'm going to do is here coming up, I don't know, I might do it in the winter, at the end of the winter, or maybe come up in the spring. I might actually set a date where we can all get together, the people that live near me and close by me that want to make the drive to the wood yard. I'll get some rounds made up, and we can have a day where we can all get together, maybe grab some lunch together, or order some pizzas or something, and everybody can come try out the 1222 to see the difference that it makes. I know there's quite a few people that have either emailed me or commented on the videos about wanting to come see the splitter. So maybe one day we can all get together and do it all at one time. So I'll be putting something out about that here next month or so, probably. What do you think about that? That'd be a pretty cool thing, wouldn't it? We'll make a video of that. Everybody coming to check out the Easton Made 1222.
Well, I'm probably going to be going right by your place. I would say about the second week of February.
Oh, but Stacy's going to be with you, right? And the whole family?
Oh, she'll love it. We'll have a blast.
Okay, well, if you want to stop by, then me and you will work that out. I will put out the invite to anybody that wants to show up. It's probably going to be a party. And if you want to stop by and make an appearance and answer any questions about your machines that they have, we can probably make that happen if you're up for it.
The only hard part we might have with that is we'd probably want to do it on a weekend. I don't know whether I'm going to be traveling back through there during the week.
Yeah.
That might be the only hard part of that.
Well, we can work that out, whatever works for you. I mean, if that's something you're seriously interested in, I can.
Well, I'm up for anything. I'm easy.
All right. Well, there you have it. Be looking for that. It'll be a party at Firewood at the Furnace Woodyard. So wooden welding an inch or two or whatever to the bottom of one of those new wedges work. Yeah, that's what's going to end up happening, I'm pretty sure, because I don't think this linkage is going to work. You saw the welder working on the conveyor in the video a couple weeks ago, and I've already talked to him. I could have fixed this problem initially, but it was just the point. It was the point of the matter that I paid for that wedge. That's not something that was sent to me for free. I paid them for that, and it was the wrong thing. So I'm giving them a chance to make it right over and over and over again. And now that the 1222 is here, to be honest with you, this may sound, you may not like this, what I'm about to say, but it's kind of like a game for me now to see how long it takes them to fix it. But yes, the simple solution, as many people have suggested and commented over and over again on the videos, just weld a couple inches to the bottom of it. That would be the simple solution, but it's just the point right now.
It should have been right after that many times.
Yeah. Hey, see Shives talking to Brad Nelson, Nelson Ridge Farm. I didn't see him in here, but if you're here, Brad, welcome to the live stream, my friend. It's good to talk to you again. I hope everything's well. I hope you had a good holiday. Dude Ranch DIY's here. Jake, I talked to him on the phone a little bit today. He's working on his conveyor as well. Chris wants to know, does anyone know how to hit the thumbs up? Teach the rest how to do it. I don't know how many thumbs up we have right now, but I can't see that right now. But yeah, hit the thumbs up. That helps the channel out. Brad, Deb will yell at you if you don't grease that rail before every use. She is on top of her maintenance on the 1222. Well, I'll tell you what, it's funny you say that. I'm sitting here at my workbench right now, and I just greased it this evening. I literally just before the live stream greased the rail of the splitter. So I am on top of that. The grease fitting right on top of the ram is super convenient. You don't have to use motor oil on it or spray it with WD-40 or anything like that. So, yep, I'm on top of the maintenance as well. And like I said, it's sitting here nice and warm in the garage. Look how beautiful that thing is. Is that thing pretty or what? You know, orange and blue you wouldn't think would go together, but that is a good-looking machine.
Yeah, you would never think that, eh? I thought they were nuts.
Beaver Valley with a super chat. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Cheers to you, my friend. Are you drinking Fireball tonight? I don't know what you're drinking. Put it in the chat what you're drinking. Cheers. Man, we are so far behind. 199 people in the chat. I keep thinking I'm getting caught up. Andrew, bring some real beer to Paul Bunyan for Shive to drink. Miller Lite is barely flavored water.
Yeah. I'm not a light beer guy. Like that Michelob light beer. I would normally not ever drink that. I'm normally like a Molson guy. I'll drink a Molson or a Guinness, but the doctor said I've got to not do that so much anymore. So.
Hardwood Hunter. Hey, Brad, what's up? I made it, even though I'm late. Well, I'm glad you made it, my friend. Welcome to the chat. Thanks for the comment. Glad to see you here. All right, so I got to get back to this list here because I know I'm going to forget stuff. Oh, yeah, Taylor wanted me to let you all know that she has designed a new website, firewoodatthefurnace.com. Very easy to remember. And she created a store because several of you are messaging me about shirts and whiskey glasses and all that good stuff. I never really had a place where you could go to get everything. So she has designed the new website. She did a very good job on it, and she's maintaining it for me. One less thing I have to worry about. So if you go to that website, check it out. All credit to Taylor. Shai wants to know how many electric splitters you have sold.
Only a couple so far. We've had a pile of interest in them, and I think it's one of those things that's going to be a little more specialized. That I'll tell you, if you have the power for, like, if you have the hydro for one or electricity for one, they're nuts. That 3070 we made, it all kinds of power. Like, it doesn't slow down for nothing. It just goes. It's incredible to watch.
Yeah. So you've got one out there right now, right?
Yeah, it's in Rochester, Minnesota is where it is. Big producer has it. A really good friend of mine does a lot of wood. Marv would probably do, I don't know what kind of volume, probably 10,000 quart a year.
Wow. Goodness gracious.
He's got a 2040 Multitech. He's got 2 or 3 pale axes. He's got a splitter, a conveyor, and a disc screener from us. That's his second splitter from us.
I was thinking the other day, do you have any customers that have multiple processors?
Yep. Yeah, we do. We got lots of them.
Wow.
Yeah, you'd be surprised how many customers we have that run 2 or 3 processors.
That's amazing. I bet
you wouldn't think about it in like more places than you would think. There's people that are doing that kind of that volume of firewood.
Chris wants to know what the going rate is for the Axis. That's what he's looking at.
Without the conveyor, you're 13 US, and then I think with the conveyor, you're 17 or 18 and around there.
That's what would you say is the most popular machine that you sell?
Right now, it's either between the Axis and the 37D.
Oh, the 37D, really?
Yeah, those would be the two most popular machines we sell.
The 37D, I mean, I was watching that thing run at the Paul Bunyan show, and I don't know how you feed that thing.
Oh, they work awesome. They work really, really well, and the little Kubota purrs away there. They run really, really nice. But that would be our two biggest sellers right now is 37D and an Axis.
Yeah, I think you need 2 people just to bring the wood to it. It's so quick.
Yep, for sure.
Andrew, would you be changing the engine on the 37D and the 24D? I guess he's talking about the Caterpillar engines.
Yeah, I don't know if we are yet or not. If we can keep, they seem to be able to supply us the 902s easily, like the smaller engines, but the big 115s, it always seems to be a problem. They're always a week, 2 weeks late on them, and it just, like for us for production, if we're planning on having engines at a certain time, they don't have them, we're fucked, right? So.
Brad, do you get up every morning and pet your new machine? Well, I don't know if I pet it, but I'll be honest with you, I have wiped it down a couple times. Clean the stuff off of it and wiped it down. I know it's a work machine and it's certainly built to work, but
Brad's standing back with a baby oil spraying it all over.
I mean, look at it. I mean, I know it can't stay that pretty forever because it's gonna work, but yeah, I'm pretty pumped up about that thing there. And somebody else asking how many times I've polished the new splitter. I'll know I'm a Harley guy. I've got motorcycles sitting here in the garage, so I'm used to polishing chrome, and this don't have any chrome on it, but I think it's just as beautiful. All right. Oh, one other thing I wanted to show you guys. Something else that y'all might, this is a new Thirsty Thursday merch. For those times when you need a drink and you got to be discreet about it. It's the Firewood at the Furnace flask, leather wrapped. So
that's a good looking flask.
There's another item that Taylor is going to be adding to the site here soon. When Dan gave me all those shots about my shot glasses, I ordered shot glasses and came across those as well. WD-30, Andrew, have you or anyone thought of making a round conveyor so you can put rounds on a table and blast through a ton of rounds versus have a processor?
I thought about it, but it's one of those things that'd be it'd be tricky to build it well at an affordable price. That would be the hardest part about that. Like we could certainly do it, it'd be no problem doing it at all, but to be able to do it and have it priced at a point where you wouldn't just go buy a processor will be the tricky part of that. Like I know I've seen guys do it with like old manure spreaders work really good for that because they have the big chains at the bottom of them and they're a big hopper. You just take the paddles out of the back of them. I've seen guys do that. I have a couple of guys that run like big garbage compactor things that it just pushes it ahead. But the hard part for us is to build something and it make feasible sense for somebody to buy it.
Jake's got to head out. He says good night, Brad, and good night, Andrew. So have a good night, my friend. Good talking to you today. You got my number now, buddy. So anytime you want to chat or have a question or anything, reach out to me and I'll do the same to you. Chuck says if he were to upgrade, it would be the 37D if it were on wheels. It's on wheels, isn't it?
Yeah, 37D's on wheels. Yeah. You might be talking to 37E, and 37E is stationary.
Yeah, right. Andrew, I know Wild Logs here in New Jersey has tons of your equipment in their yard.
Yeah. Steve's got a pile of it. I think he's got every single piece of East-made equipment that we make. Every one of them, right from a processor to an Ultra. He's got every single one of them.
Wow, that's awesome.
He's a super nice guy too. He's just a great guy to get along with. He's a super great guy to work with.
I'll be honest with you. I haven't met anybody in the neighborhood in this whole community that I haven't gotten along with.
Honestly, pretty well everybody's really great.
I mean, there's always a bad apple in everything you do, right? But I haven't found that bad apple yet.
You get the odd one, but very, very few and far between.
Have you figured out the layout for the new capacity you will need in the wood yard? I have not figured it out. I've been running lots of ideas through my head. But like I said in the video on Wednesday, I've got to make some changes. The biggest change I think I'm going to try to figure out as to how to put everything, the splitter, the conveyor, and just have everything in one place where I don't have to move it around a whole lot. This machine is a beast, and it's not super easy to move around. I mean, I hook up to the nice thing about it is you can hook up to the rear of it with the four-wheeler or the tractor or whatever to move it around, and you can still run it. But I would like to get it to a place where I can have a designated splitting and processing area. So that's kind of what I'm jumbling around in my head right now. But I'm going to figure it out for sure. The flask does not come preloaded with Eagle Rare. I don't know if it would get through the mail that easily or not. So there's a limit.
I've got one question though. I'm just sitting here and I'm just wondering if anybody's ever thrown too much wood in their wood stove before.
I don't think that's ever happened.
Like I had to go open up the door here. I put a bunch of wood in the wood stove before I sat down here, and it's got to be about 92 degrees in here right now.
Oh my goodness! It's a good thing you got the T-shirt on.
I know. Good looking T-shirt. I don't know if Stacy's taking hers off yet.
I got to send you all some hoodies, and I'll be honest with you, I'm going to send you a couple of hats as well because I really like that Hometown Acres hat as well. It's a good looking hat. But you got to change it up once in a while. I think a firewood at the furnace hat would look good on you in a couple of videos. I've been wearing that. That's a good looking hat that Adam had there, Paul.
Oh, it is for sure.
Yeah.
It is for sure.
Outdoors with this guy, what is the splitter that has a small conveyor on it, and what's the price on that?
Well, we can do that on a 2228. 24D or a 3070. Any of the bigger machines, we can do the attached conveyor on. And the attached conveyor, I think, is a $7,500 option on top of the machine. It might be $8,000, maybe. I don't know. But it's in around that range. And it works nice. Like if you're looking to buy a package, they're a nice package. They're easy to move around, and it's all in one. It's a good setup.
And the Axis you can get a conveyor for the Axis too, can't you?
Yeah, you can put the conveyor up for the Axis is 8 feet, and it works really nice too. It's enough that you can load like a tote or a small dump trailer with it.
J&B Lawn Care wants to know if you can mount the lift table on either side of a 1222.
We can do it either way, yeah. You can even get we even do them that you can get like a double log lift on them. So if you want like 2 log lifts on your 1222, you could order it like that.
And I tell you, that's the one thing that I noticed right away too that I didn't talk about in the video. But you can run that 1222 on the log lift side of the machine, and it's not in the way. The machine is big enough, and there's enough space there that you can stand there and easily run that machine without the log lift being a hindrance.
No, it's really comfortable to run from both sides. Now that's kind of the one thing that we try to preach to guys too, because there's other like a lot of the other commercial splitters. When you get into the bigger machines like that, they're really big and bulky, so you can't run it from the log lift side. You have to load it, run it on the other side, and run it from that side, right?
Right. Yeah, that's what I had to do with the Ram splitter. You want to put the log lift on the side that the rounds are on so that you don't have to lift them, obviously. Yep. But when you got to run it from the opposite side, it makes for a lot of, running in circles, which isn't most efficient. Small Woodlot, Andrew, with building your splitters, you have them powered with gas, diesel, and now electric. What's next, steam or human powered?
I don't know if I can compete with the old fist cars on the human powered one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm surprised that you got into the electric game as aggressively and as quickly as you did. I mean, I think that's what's coming in the future. Whether that's good or bad, I'm not going to get into. But electric seems to be the way of the future, and you hit a home run with that one for sure. Rolando, maybe a silly question. Is there a speed limit when pulling an Easton-made splitter on the roads? I'll let Andrew answer, but the 1222 is clearly marked.
Yeah, it is 100%. We say 55 miles per hour on them, like pulling them from the wedge end, and then 35 miles per hour from the tank end of it. Can you go faster? Absolutely. They pull nice. The problem you run into, what we run into, is if we don't have a speed limit on there or something on there, you're going to have some guy going 100 mile an hour, flipper on it sled.
Yeah, and the axles aren't super wide either. So
No,
I mean, you don't want
no,
to go down highway speed with those things.
no. I don't know. I don't know if Joe's on here, but I wonder how Mike rolled that one.
I think he went down in a ditch or something, ran off the road. I don't know if a car came over in his lane, but he ended up going off the edge of the road there. I think that's what happened. I can't quite remember.
5 miles per hour in JPF's driveway. That would be my luck.
Buck and Billy Ray gave Brad a mention on his video today. No kidding. I'll have to check that out. I haven't seen it yet. It's super hard to keep up with everybody on here. I try to, but it's really hard. But thanks for mentioning that. I'll certainly check it out. Super chat here from WD30. Will, got to save up for that 1222 and keep it from Dad because I love processing wood with him and want to surprise him with that machine. There you go. 1222 is I mean, you're going to get to see it a lot on the channel. So, and if you can make it to New York, are you going to have your full line there at the Woodsman's Days in August?
Oh yeah, we'll have everything there. And the others, we have another show coming up in Maine too. So anybody in Massachusetts, Connecticut, New Hampshire, Vermont, there's a big show in Bangor, Maine in the spring too.
And you get to see everything they've got. I mean, in Ohio, they had everything laid out there. They were running the machines, had plenty of wood to put through them, and you can actually, get to actually stand next to them. I think that's the biggest thing that I noticed about the machines is that you don't realize the size and the mass of them until you stand next to one.
And we'll have we'll probably have everything set up in Boonville just because Boonville's only 3 hours from us. Boonville's not far from us at all. It's very, very close.
All right. And speaking of Boonville, I have that on my sheet here to talk about too tonight. If you're planning on going to that and you haven't booked your room, I suggest you do it soon because I booked my room 2 weeks ago and they have the Fairfield Inn in Utica has very few rooms left. I think are mostly just king beds. The Holiday Inn is basically across the street, which is where some of us stay. And I know they fill up quick. And when I called the hotel, the receptionist told me that a lot of the people that go to that show, when they check out one year, they book for the following year. And there's not a whole lot around there. So
we always do. And then there's the other thing that happens that same weekend in Utica is the firefighter races.
So there's a lot going on.
Is that exact same weekend in Utica?
Yeah. So if you plan on going to that show,
in August.
It's going to be a great time. And if you plan on going, I would suggest you go ahead and book your room now because you're going to run out of options here quickly.
Yeah. And another good spot to stay. If you're not going to stay in Utica, Rome's another good spot to stay. The road in between Rome and Boonville isn't the best, but Rome is about the same distance.
Andrew, have you ever had Moosehead beer? I remember it tasting very good.
You've got bad taste buds.
I guess that's not a good beer.
I've had Moosehead. It's not too bad.
Is that a Canadian thing?
I would assume so. You see lots of it up here. It's in green bottle.
An Easton-made mall with an adjustable wedge. Goodness. All right, Northeast Firewood. Brad, I went with Big Dog Wolf Ridge machine with their 12-way. Andrew, you make a great machine. I just got a really quick turnaround, and lucky you and Shy at RMPA. Let's get together. Northeast Firewood, where are you located? I'm not sure where you are, so get up with me. And if you want to come run the Easton-made, you'll be welcome to do that as well.
No, he won't go wrong with that Wolf Ridge. Chris builds great stuff.
Andrew, you check out those hose wraps from Outback Wrap. I don't know what it is.
No, I haven't, but I wrote it down the other day when I don't know if Don had commented on one of my videos maybe, but I wrote it down to check it out. I don't even know what Outback Wrap would be. I'd imagine obviously some sort of hose wrap, but
I guess that's for the hydraulic lines.
Yeah.
Where's a good place to stay, Brad? I'm booked at the Fairfield Inn in Utica. The Holiday Inn, I don't know if I'm privy to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway, but that's where Jeff and Patty stay. And they're right across the street from us, and I will definitely be hanging out with them for sure. I've become pretty cool with Jeff and Patty, and talk to them almost on a daily basis. But the Fairfield Inn is where I'll be staying. I think Scheib called and booked his room at the Fairfield Inn as well, and that's the one in Utica, New York. So call up there and try to get a room, Chuck, if you can.
Yeah, and there's a really nice Italian spot it's right in between the Fairfield and Holiday Inn there.
Is that the place Jeff said he eats at every night? Or is that the
it's really good.
steakhouse?
It's really good.
Yeah. Jeff was telling me about one of those places that has awesome food. Hey, Brady's on here. Brady must be coming home he's at the University of Maryland basketball game tonight. He got tickets to that for Christmas. So his mom and sister and his buddy Dom are at the University of Maryland basketball game. They must be on their way home, and he's on the live stream. So everybody say hello to my boy Brady.
Hello, Brady.
He got his cast off last week from where he broke his hand, and he's been back at baseball practice and basketball practice. So I think that was the longest 4 weeks of his life was wearing that cast.
That sucks.
He's a very active boy. He loves to be outside, and he loves sports, and being restricted was hard on him. So
I broke my leg one time. It was it was the very end of September. I got a brand new Z400. If you know what that is, it's a Suzuki race quad. And I had it for about a month and a half, and I broke my leg on, and it was right going into deer season almost, and it sucked. It wasn't fun at all.
Yeah. Luckily, I've never broken a bone. I sprained my wrist one time, but I've never broken a bone. Chris has got to head out. Thanks for hanging out so long tonight, Chris. I know you're a busy man, but have a good night. Good night, Irene, he says.
Yeah, good night, Irene.
And there's Brady's buddy Dom chiming in, too. He calls me Mr. Firewood. He doesn't even call me Mr. Brad or Brady's dad or anything. He just says, hey, Mr. Firewood.
Mr. Firewood. At least he leaves a Mr. in there.
Yeah. Ken says, count me in for the February get-together. When is the Utica show? It's not in Utica. It's in Boonville, New York. But Utica, I guess, is the nearest bigger town that has, decent hotels.
Yeah, Utica will be about 40 minutes to Boonville or so. There's Lions Falls has a hotel just down the road from Boonville, but it's just one hotel. There's not. It's normally always full.
If you go to the website for the Boonville Woodsman Days, I don't know what the exact website is, but if you go to that, they have a list of accommodations there, and it seems like the places that are closest to the show are like campgrounds and like motels and stuff like that. To get a decent hotel, you got to go a little bit outside of the show, I think.
And if you wanted to camp at Boonville too, there's really good camping there too. It's right at the show. So if you are into camping, it's a good spot to camp too. And they're a really great bunch of folks in Boonville. They're awesome. The same people putting it on for I think 100 years. So.
And that show is a little different from the Paul Bunyan show. The Paul Bunyan show has a wide variety of firewood all the way up to forestry and arborists and the whole 9 yards, where Boonville, it looks like, is more geared towards firewood.
Yeah, it's more geared towards firewood and smaller operations. You'll still get the big machines there. So you'll still get the big feller bunchers and stuff like that. But there's a lot more, I guess, shopping to do at Boonville. That would be kind of one thing. And there's a lot more smaller stuff. There's a lot for everybody at Boonville. Like it doesn't matter who you are, you're going to see something of interest there.
Yeah, so that's August 18th through the 20th. It's Friday through Sunday. So if some of the same people that were at Paul Bunyan can make it to this show, it'll certainly be a great time because Paul Bunyan was awesome.
Oh, it was a pile of fun there.
Absolutely. Johnny says, how is Brady and his friends' YouTube channel going? They are stuck at 97 subscribers. They got to 100 at one point and then lost a few. But they're making sports videos and they're having a good time with it. But
well, what's the channel? I got to go subscribe to.
It's Van Bros, all one word.
Van Bros.
VANBROS. They made one the other day that
This isn't the same Van Bros I'm thinking of, is it?
No, it's. I'll show you what it looks like. Let me back up here. The logo for the channel is this van right here. They're obsessed with this little mini van, like miniature truck van or whatever it is.
The old Van Go CTI.
That's what it CTXI or CTMI or something he always talks about. He wants one.
I got her, man. I'm on there. I'm subscribed. I'm subscriber number 98.
98. There you go. But yeah, they make. I mean, their videos are funny, but they made.
If every other person that was on here right now went and subscribed, they'd be up over 300.
Yep, they would. Yeah, because we got 191 people in here right now. I made a little push for them, I think, on last month's live stream, and it got them up there close to 100. But they have a good time with it, and it's harmless. They have a good time. So
as long as they're enjoying it and having fun, that's all that matters.
It's a lot of sports related stuff, and they made one the other day in the car, some parodies of grandfathers driving them to school, and they threw a little Joe Biden joke in there too. It was pretty funny. All right, where are we at? Van Gogh CMXI, he said. That's what it is. Is that the one you were talking about, Andrew?
Oh, yeah, I got her. Don't you worry. That one right there in the picture.
Yep. All right, so let's get to a couple of these whiskey glass giveaways. So here's the new thing. Since we have the shot glasses now, we're going to you're going to have your choice of a whiskey glass, which is this right here.
Oh, I've got one just like that.
Yep. You're going to have a choice of a beer mug.
Oh, I don't have that one yet.
You don't have one of these yet. Or you have a choice of not one, but two, a set of shot glasses. So whoever is the winner of these two giveaways, because we got to do the one we forgot about last month. And the first question, if we're caught up here, looks like I'm caught up in the chat. The first question for the first winner is, what was the name of my buddy at my part-time job who welded and helped fabricate the belly pan for my conveyor? If you remember his name, we said it several times in the video. So if you can remember his name, you're going to be a winner. Rod Bourne said, Andrew, that is an awesome machine you built for Brad.
Well, thanks a lot, Rod. We really enjoy doing that.
Oh gosh, people are just making up names, I think. Robert, Chris, John, Justin. I don't see it yet. It starts with a J. I will tell you that. It starts with a J. Not John, Justin, or Joe, but it does start with a J.
Billy doesn't start with a J.
Right. That must have been a little delayed.
Jim, Jason, Jeremy, Jeff, Eddie, Jason, Josh.
Not yet. Somebody said Nate. Jerry. Dana Hassan says Jerry, and that's the correct answer. So you
now is it Jerry with a J or Jerry with a G?
It is with a J. It is.
Oh, there you go.
So Dana Hassan, what I need you to do is send an email to me at firewood@thefurnace@gmail.com to claim your prize. Let me know what you would like, either the whiskey glass, the beer mug, or the set of shot glasses, and I'll get that out to you. So you need to email me if you can. So we have the winner for the first giveaway. Now the second question for the next giveaway, because we are a half hour in overtime right now, is what size boot do I wear? And you got to be specific. What size boot do I wear? Andrew, it's up to you. I'll be right back.
I don't know. I take a stab at like a 12 or 12 and a half. I don't know what you guys are thinking, but I would think it would have to be in around there. I haven't watched the video, but I'm going to say it's going to be something like that. $11 wide, 12 wide, 13 wide.
I kind of hung you out to dry there because you don't know the answer.
No, I haven't got a clue.
All right.
I had a couple of guesses.
I'm going to back up here. Oh, a lot of people have the right answer. I got to find out who the first one was. All right, a lot of 13s. 13 wide, TB. TB, you're the winner.
That's a boo.
So firewood at the furnace at gmail.com. Send me an email, and we will get your prize out to you as well. You get either the shot glass set, the beer mug, or the whiskey glass. All right. All right, so there's still 184 people here. Do you all want to keep going, or do you want to wrap this thing up? I'll
go all night myself. I'm easy. I'm just sitting here. I got a nice breeze coming through the back door now. It's probably cooled down to a mere 88 degrees in here, so I'm doing all right.
Hey, Brady, who won the basketball game? Did Maryland win? I wasn't following it, so I'm not sure. I did want to talk to you all about a little mishap that I had last week with the dump trailer. I was coming back from a delivery, and there was a old motor coach coming down the road, and their awning was sticking out on the side of the motor coach and clipped the back of my dump trailer. And their awning literally exploded all over the road. It sent my trailer into a sway and blew out a tire on my dump trailer. It was a little bit of a mess, but I got the tire fixed on the dump trailer, and fortunately nobody was hurt, and there wasn't a lot of serious damage, but trailer was empty. I'd already dumped off my delivery, and yeah, there was a little excitement coming back from firewood delivery last week.
Wouldn't that be something, eh?
They were going down the road, and their awning arms were like sticking out, and the little post on the back of the dump trailer where the lights are at the top of the trailer.
Yeah.
The awning arm caught the back of that post, and I mean it sounded like I hit a brick wall when it went off, and I looked in the mirror and metal was flying everywhere.
I bet you would. Yeah, that would be something.
Yeah.
That would be something.
But not much damage to the trailer, so just the tire. Johnny wants to know, Andrew, why orange and blue? I know you made a video on this a while back, but you can kind of tell that story.
Well, I did have a video on. So if you want the full in-depth story, I have a video on why they're orange and blue. But the first Eastamade splitter that I had built, I had guess it probably would have been 8 years ago right now. It would have been 2014. It would have been exactly 8 years ago, probably exactly right now. And we were sitting there. We went to the pub. This is my wife and her friends, and my one wife's friend is fairly flamboyant. She's a very outspoken girl. She's a blast to be around, and we were at the Red Fox, and I'm trying to figure out what color I'm going to paint these things. I said, I got to have two colors. I got to have something that's not the same as anybody else's. And I said, I like orange. And just right out of nowhere, orange and blue, Denver Broncos. I said, you are absolutely off your rocker if you think I'm going to paint something orange and blue. There's not a chance of me ever possibly painting something orange and blue. That's going to look disgusting. I was dead against it, completely dead against it. And then my wife's a hairdresser. Stacy's incredibly talented at what she does. She said, no, that'll go together. Like it'll match it. The complementary colors. Don't worry about that. It'll match. And if you think about it, there's a lot of stuff that's orange and blue. There's the Denver Broncos, Florida Gators, the Edmonton Oilers, New York Islanders. They go together. Yeah, they do. So that's the whole story of the orange and blue. That's how I came up with orange and blue. When they first said that, I was completely and totally dead against it. There was no way I was painting anything orange and blue, but here we are today.
Looks pretty good, doesn't it?
Oh, it does. Yeah, it's something that stands out too, right? Because there's in terms of branding, because I've done this with bells, right? This wasn't my first rodeo doing this. Like I had a lot of experience with the Bell's fiber processors in terms of branding, in terms of getting a name out there and something that's recognizable. And I knew it had to be something that was going to stick out. And that's why you'll never see us paint something a different color. I've had guys ask me to paint something a different color. I won't do it. Like it's no different than a John Deere tractor. If you can see a John Deere tractor from a mile away and know it's a John Deere tractor.
Yep.
So it's a huge branding thing, and it's really kind of funny. There's a local guy that's older fellow that builds splitters around here, Gordy McClellan, and Gordy has always painted his wood splitters Robin's egg blue. Gordy's been building wood splitters for 45 years, and they're always Robin egg blue. And if you see a Robin egg blue splitter locally, you know that Gordy McClellan had built that wood splitter. So that's why we did it. That's why they're orange and blue, and that's how they came up with the colors. It wasn't my first choice. I thought they were right off their rockers, but here we are. Patty says orange and blue is the color she loves. Well, appreciate all the support. Who else do we got in here? Is she related to Rachel? Billy Bob's World was wondering about the lead times coming down since you expanded. The lead times dropped actually in half. If you would have ordered a wood splitter a year and a half ago, we would have been telling you 2 years. We would have been telling 18 to 24 months on a wood splitter. Now we're down to 12. So that's they have dropped down significantly, and it seems to be once we get to a point where we're more competitive with our competitors, like in terms of lead times, that we get more orders in. So I think you'll see it like this probably for another year or 2 years. As long as we keep getting orders in, that's the biggest thing. We're just literally that backed up with orders right now, so that's why the lead times are the way they are. Supply chain's been doing well.
Sorry about that. We've been going for an hour and a half. I had to use the bathroom real quick. Andrew, do you use Gates hoses or Weatherhead? Do you get them pre-made and sent to the shop?
We get them pre-made, and we use a hose that's called Ryko. We've had tremendous luck with Ryko hoses. I've run them the whole time I've done splitters, and I think I've had 2 hose failures ever. And if you leave them out in the sun if you leave them outside in the sun, like the rubber doesn't peel from them, they tend to be a really durable hose. Like if you look at Tiger Cat runs a lot of Ryko hoses.
Super chat from WD30 again. Yeah, I had to use the bathroom there, WD. I had to step outside real quick. Andrew, what are your lead times coming down since you expanded?
I just answered that one. You were out when I answered that one. I'm one step ahead of you. Look at me go.
So you're ahead of the chat. How about this one? Did you already answer this one?
Oh yes, I'm on that one too. Yeah. We've had a hell of a conversation since you left.
I wasn't gone that long.
Oh, I know. We're just rolling through them here. We're doing great.
All right. How about this one? What's the furthest west in the U.S. for a wood show that you attend?
Oshkosh.
Where's that?
Wisconsin. So it's just Oshkosh and Green Bay are kind of, they're almost attached there. I don't know. We may. Fuck, that's coming up too. I should look into that. I never even thought of Oshkosh. When it's in Escanaba, the show alternates between Escanaba and Oshkosh. And when it's in Escanaba, you don't get near the traffic. So we don't normally do Escanaba. But if they're doing Oshkosh this year, we'll probably have to do Oshkosh too, because it's a really good show. Like you get around Wisconsin, and then you get a lot of guys that are Minnesota into that. You get a lot of guys that are Illinois. So,
is there many firewood shows out west?
What's that?
I said, is there any firewood shows really out west? It's more of a Midwest and East Coast.
It is, and honestly, if you look at a great example of it is Dan's wood helm map.
Yeah.
Like that's, and if you look at the population of the United States of America,
There's like a line,
it
right?
matches it exactly, right to a T. And same as our customer map. Like every time we sold a machine for years, we'd put a pin on a Google map so we could see exactly where every machine was sold. I'll see if I can pull it up.
So Dirt Road Landing says that Oshkosh hosts the greatest aviation celebration in the world.
They do, as a matter of fact. Yeah. Oshkosh is a huge aviation, huge for that. Yeah.
Rick wants to know what hydraulic fluid you use in the splitters. They've had problems lately with the cold temperatures.
Oh, we run 32-8.
Yeah. It's kind of like a good middle of the road fluid, right?
Yeah, that seems to work the best for us. I don't know how to share this.
If you go down to can you see the bottom under present? Can you see that?
Yeah, right there.
You can share your screen.
Yeah, just make sure I don't have any dirty pictures up here first. Share screen. So can you guys see that?
There we go.
You guys are able to see that map?
Yeah, I just put it up there for him.
So that is as of December 2022.
Yeah, so that, I mean, you get a lot up the very, very, very west coast, Pacific coast.
Yeah, you get a lot of them down through here on the west coast. Like here, it's just a pile of rocks, so you don't get anything through here at all. And then you have a little bit of wood when that must be Kansas, is it? Oh, that's Colorado.
Yep, Colorado.
Geography. And then all through here.
Wow.
You can see as you zoom in, it gets thicker and thicker and thicker.
Yep.
And every dot is a different customer, different blue is 12, 22. I don't know what black is, but there's So that is the East-to-Made map. And if you look at Dan from Back 40's Wood Helm map, it matches that exactly.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. I didn't realize it was that significant of a difference.
Yeah, because like there's nobody through here. There's nobody. Like you get in through the Midwest here. The people don't live here. Like I'm sure there might be somebody on the live stream right now that lives in here somewhere, but the population is very, 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 very small through here. Right? There's not a lot of people.
Right. That's the flyover states, right?
Well, that's exactly it. Yeah. And we don't have, I don't know why we don't have well, I guess the other lad looks after that, but we're starting a lot of them over in Europe too. We're starting to move a lot of them into the UK and Ireland, East or Western Europe.
That's
starting
awesome.
to get a lot of them through there. So
very cool. Question here: what's the weirdest place you've ever shipped a splitter to? I don't know. Weirdest. Hawaii.
Hawaii takes the cake.
Wow.
Shipped one there 6 months ago. That was probably the strangest spot. Like we've shipped them just about everywhere else. We have one splitter in New Zealand, one or two splitters in New Zealand. The guy looked after all the shipping on his end of it. He really wanted a splitter from us, so I haven't even heard from him whether it's running there or not. I have no idea, but he's got an East-to-Made wood splitter in New Zealand. I think we sent one to Costa Rica.
Wow.
Or sending one to Costa Rica. There's one going there. Europe, like a lot through the UK. You wouldn't think there'd be any wood in the UK to split, but we send a container load of splitters to the UK every 6 weeks, 8 weeks.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You guys ever I don't know what this means. You can read this and maybe you'll understand.
You guys ever consider the Equipment Expo in Louisville, Kentucky? Yeah, I have. I'm aware of the Equipment Expo in Louisville. Those big indoor shows like that are crazy expensive to do. The cost of them and the timing, and it's not worth us to do that. I don't think. We did one show called the ARA show in Orlando. It was American Rental Association show in Orlando 3 years ago, and big show, huge equipment show, and it wasn't worth their time to go. I think I talked to 3 people over 3 days.
Wow.
It was the slowest show I've ever been at. Like, you were at Ohio, and you know how busy Ohio was, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
And it comes down to direct marketing. Like that's the big thing with it is when you're doing marketing, same thing as sending, like you or Shiba Splitter, we're directly marketing to the people that are going to buy them.
Right.
And that's the critical part of that. And the money's better spent there than any kind of a big trade show like that, in my experience.
Yeah, because I would imagine that you're gonna be hitting a bunch of people that is not your target audience, right?
No, not at all. No, you mean out of if there were 50,000 people go through one of those shows and you had 30 of them, maybe they were interested in a log splitter firewood equipment, right?
I mean, let's face it. If anybody is watching my channel, they're interested in wood splitters.
Yeah, that's what they're here for.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So I mean, I totally get your marketing ideas, and your target audience is in this community.
Absolutely, and we've worked with bigger channels before.
Yeah.
With very limited success compared to working with smaller channels.
No kidding.
Yeah, like Buck and Billy's been really good for us. Like Buckin's been really, really good for us. We've dealt with other larger channels with almost no response out of the community compared to this deal with everybody that's on the live stream right now. Like everybody's here because they like firewood, because they like the channel, because they like the brand,
right?
Or into firewood. This is what they're here for, right?
Shibe wants to know, correct me if I'm wrong, all the splitters from the 511 to the 37E can run a box wedge?
Yeah, they can. Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, when you're in the 511 and 916, like the 5-way normally works a little bit better. Just when you get into the 7-way and the smaller machines, they just slow down. Like when the 511 goes into the slow speed, it's slow. And same as the 916, where the 1222 and 2028 and the bigger machines, they'll just power through it, right?
So what do you think is the ideal size diameter for the box wedge, the 7-way box wedge?
Honestly, 16-inch.
16 and bigger? Up to what?
Well, that stuff you were doing, that cherry the other day, like you made nice firewood with that.
Yeah.
That was nice looking firewood. Where if you did that with like a 6-way, you're going to have resplits off and you're going to have slivers off it.
Yeah.
So as soon as you go over that 10, 12-inch where the 6-way is ideal, that's where the box wedge shines.
So do you think that 7-way up to what, like a 24, 28-inch round?
Depends on how clean it is. Like Chuck, like Deb was doing that ash the other day, and it had to be probably 26.
Yeah, I think he said in the video it was 24.
Yeah, like it'd be right around there, yeah.
And that was beautiful.
It made nice wood, like really nice wood. The problem you run into with running a box is when guys try to put really dirty stuff through it, or like they try to split through the knots. Like when you split through a knot, the box wood is going to follow the grain, so you're not going to be making nice looking wood.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you, the tree service that I work with, I mean, you can, if you watch the channel, you can see that they know what I like, and they don't. The tree service wood that I get from that company is not your typical tree service wood. They call me for the good stuff, and I've got a really good working relationship with them. And when I get a load of wood from them, when I'm bucking it up, to be honest with you, most of the time the nasty stuff, the crotch stuff, I will split in half and throw in a bin as boiler wood, and I don't even try to process it.
Yeah, and that tends to be the better way to deal with that stuff, because you're gonna have that in a load of logs. Like you're always gonna have a knot or branch or whatever, but you can't expect to make really nice wood out of it. It doesn't matter which machine you have.
That's exactly right. Yep. David wants to know how long we have to wait for Val to run the splitter. She has expressed a little bit of an interest in this splitter. My fear is that if she runs it, I'm not going to get to run it anymore.
There'd be no more peace and quiet in the wood yard.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not opposed at all to having help in the wood yard by any means. I would love for her to come help split. If you remember early on the channel, she would be on there quite a bit running the old county line splitter, and she has no idea what a change and a step up, a leap up that we've made. If she runs that 1222, she's gonna really enjoy it, I think. Dirt Road Landing says, Andrew, the prices for splitters on your website are your current prices? That's a question. An approximate ballpark figure. How much is delivery from Canada to Wisconsin?
Yeah, it's all current pricing. Like if it's on the website, it is current. Like if we change the price, we change it on the website before we change it anywhere else. Delivery from Canada to Wisconsin, into Wisconsin, I'm gonna say probably, depending on the machine that you're looking at, $2,500 maybe, $2,000, in around there.
Joe Dodge Firewood says he's going to be putting a 24D dot in Southwest Missouri. So that's kind of like the middle of the country there, where it's a little weak.
Yeah. In Southwest Missouri, you got to be you're getting away from St. Louis then too, eh? Like we have a lot of them. St. Louis is actually, if you look at the map, St. Louis is a really really good area for us, and then there's the rest of Missouri again. There mustn't be a whole lot around there. But if he's getting that 24D, they're nuts. They're just hilarious to watch 24D run. They're just so fast.
Absolutely. I mean, like I said, you got to really hustle to keep that thing fed.
And it's funny because they get so many comments on the 24D videos of people thinking they're sped up, and then once you tell them, like, just watch when I stop in between the blocks, like how much slower it is. Like when you're feeding that thing, you're moving for all you're worth to shovel wood onto it. They're incredibly fast.
Yeah, I can tell you, it's not sped up. I watched one work at the Paul Bunyan show, and it's pretty crazy. There you go. That's for you, Andrew.
I was sure we had sent Deb down a couple of tukes, but if we haven't yet, we'll send you down. We'll get them sent down. I think. I don't know if we have any on the shelf or not. We don't keep a lot of that swag around. I don't know why we don't. It's just, I think the management of it is the more difficult part of it for us.
So
and delegating to who does it.
Who runs your website?
I do.
You run the website? Have you thought about putting like a store for swag or anything on there?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, 100%. Like we've talked about it lots. I mean, Stacey, one of those projects we've been wanting to get around, and we just haven't really taken the time to do it. And again, it's just a matter of delegating to who does it and who looks after it more than anything.
Yeah, I feel like everybody talks about Team Orange and Blue or Team East and Made, and I feel like when you get on board with that, it's an addiction. I mean, look at Jeffrey.
The hats are expensive, eh?
I mean, look at Jeffrey. He paints everything he owns orange and blue. He's got a definite addiction.
Well, I don't know if it's as bad as the fire to the furnace. I don't know what that shirt cost me, but I'll tell you, it was a pretty penny.
I got to send you some hoodies because it's wintertime now. All I had was T-shirts at the Paul Bunyan show. A local guy to me is selling a 916 with 7 hours on it for $14K.
Is this fucking thing gold plated?
It's 7 hours. Like he didn't even run it.
No. That's crazy. I really hope he gets it for my sake. But I think that's a little steep. I think they're brand new. They're 10 or 11. I don't even think they're 11. They're 10.
Yeah, I mean that's. I guess I don't know. That's crazy. There you go. There's somebody going to buy a splitter from you. Bone Warming Hearth. In 3 months, he's putting an order in for 1222 with a 4-way box wedge here, with a 4-way and a box wedge here in South Central Iowa. There's somebody else in the middle of the country.
Give us a call when you're ready, and Jerry with a G will fix you up. I promise.
Oh, that's an awesome guy right there. He's the life of the party.
Fun to be around. He's just hilarious. He's a blast.
Oh, he's the life of the party.
He's so much fun to be around. He's just your sides are sore from laughing at him when you're done.
Yeah. So he said in the video, the Christmas video, he said he's not in the office a whole lot. What's he out doing?
He's never in the office. I hardly ever. I see him once a week, maybe. In the summertime, I didn't see him for 3 months.
What does he? Is he out in the field like doing promotions, or is he just not come to the office?
He's sitting on his pontoon boat drinking vodka.
I'll tell you what, he was a riot in the lobby of the hotel at Paul Bunyan.
Yeah, Jerry's really a guy for the job that Jerry does. He doesn't need to be in the office.
Yeah,
like he can be wherever he wants to be, as long as he's responding to people's calls and calling them back. Like he's obviously not the best at emails. If you've emailed estimated wood splitters looking for a wood splitter, you're probably 3 or 4 days a week before you get a response. You're better off to pick up the phone and give old Jerry with a G a call. But again, he's super awesome. You talk to him, he'll talk your ear off. He loves doing the job so much. He just likes talking to people.
Yes, I was watching your operation. I keep talking about the Paul Bunyan show, but it was the only interaction that I've really had with your crew, and just watching. It didn't matter who you were. If people walked up and wanted to talk, it was like a full-blown conversation. It wasn't an answer a question and walk away from you. You guys engage with every single person there, and I think that's a credit to your crew to actually, take time with every single person.
We have so much fun doing it, though. It's so much fun talking to people and seeing what everybody's up to. It's just a big, I don't know. It's just so nice to be around like-minded people and get different opinions and see what's going on. It's really, really great. I really enjoy doing it.
Yeah. Are there any shows you folks head to in the Maritimes for Andrew? Just wondering. Where are the Maritimes? Is that like?
Well, that answers that question. That means I was wondering how you were going to come out of that for it. the Maritimes are Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, Prince Edward Island. So those 3 provinces of Canada. Okay. The odd time you might include Newfoundland in there. So that's the Maritimes. I wasn't sure if maybe Maine was part of the Maritimes or Massachusetts, like any of the East Coast provinces are the Maritimes in Canada. We don't do any shows in the Maritimes. If you look at the map, we have a couple of machines in the Maritimes. I think the second altar we did went to the Maritimes. A really nice guy out there. I can't remember what his name was, but he bought the second altar. The closest show for you if you're in the Maritimes is Bangor, and it's if you're in the Maritimes, it's worth you driving to that show. It's not. If you're in Bangor, you're not far to go to New Brunswick. You're a couple hours.
So the majority of your business is in the States, right?
90%, yeah. And if you look at the population, that's the population split. Like, you guys have 350 million people. We have 35 million people.
Yeah.
So there's it's split right down the middle in terms of per capita.
Will Davidson, WD30, he said he doesn't think he'll be at Boonville, but he has an eye on Bunyan. I would imagine that Paul Bunyan next year is probably going to be close to double what it was this past year. I think
that's the busiest I've ever seen. I've been going to the Paul Bunyan show for 12 years. That was crazy.
The amount of YouTube exposure that Paul Bunyan got this year, I think, is going to drive it huge next year.
I think so too, and it's worth. I guess it's worth going to if you're interested in this kind of stuff. It's the best. It's between it and Boonville, the best shows you're going to go to in North America easily. I've been to just about every one of them.
Dell made it in here. I haven't seen him earlier, but in the backyard with Dell's here. He's saying hello. He likes the new splitter. Good evening, Dell. We're way into overtime here. I'm glad you could make it in and say hello. If you haven't checked out In the Backyard with Dell's channel, check him out. That's a pretty good place to go, and down-to-earth, humble guy there. Here we go. Hardworking man. He put some 34-inch oak through the 1222 box wedge. That's some big stuff there.
Yeah, that was some big stuff Keith was doing that day. Yeah, really big stuff. Yeah.
So he's got the 1222 and that all wood splitter. Yeah, Craig Wilson said, I get the perfect wood from the tree service. Well, Chaz has been on the live stream here before, and he's the owner of the tree company that I work with, and he doesn't send me junk. and we got a great relationship together. And he calls me when he knows what I like, and he calls me when I get some good stuff. But I did tell him the other day that I'm willing to take a little bigger stuff now. It's the Real said he actually heard about East and Made from the Sawing with Sandy's channel.
Oh, right on. That's great. Sandy's a great guy. Jeez, I think he was at the shop for probably 3 hours the day he was at the shop to pick up the Ultra, and he's such a nice guy to talk to. If you guys haven't gone over to see Sawing with Sandy, go over to his channel and give him a thumbs up and subscribe, because he's just such a nice guy. Like he's so nice. he's just a great guy to get along with. Sandy's got a fairly good sized channel. I think it's maybe 43 or 44,000 subs. He's got a fairly good sized channel, and I've been thinking about approaching him for quite a few years, and it just so happened he had emailed me, or he got a hold of me there, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago, asking if I wanted to work with him. Absolutely. He's not far from me. Sandy's only 4 hours from me. He's not far from me at all here.
4 hours. So where is he located?
He's north of Toronto.
North of Toronto. Okay.
Yeah, north of Toronto. Yeah.
I saw something here. Oh, Chuck got his room booked at the Fairfield Inn for Boonville, so Chuck and Deb will be there.
Oh, right on.
That's awesome.
Boonville will be a good show too. I hope we get a good crowd like we did at Ohio. That was a blast.
Yeah, so I know for a fact that Shibe, myself, and now Chuck and Deb are at the Fairfield Inn, and I know
I think Patty and Jeff are going.
Patty and Jeff are definitely going. Yep. Are all the bunion machines next year sold already?
I don't know. I don't think they are. Honestly, I don't know if we've started taking orders for the bunion show. If you want one, call Jerry, because we'd be right there now. I don't even know if Boonville sold or Bangor. So if you're looking for a machine in Bangor in the spring, that'd be a good spot to pick one up. Give us a call. And then Boonville, I don't know if Jerry's got them sold for Boonville yet or not. And then Wisconsin will be another one in September too, if we go to Oshkosh. So if you're in Wisconsin, Midwest or whatever, looking for a splitter, you'd save the freight on one anyways.
Yeah, there you go. Save the freight. That's a good point. Tim wants to know if you can add a log lift to the Ultra.
No, we've never done that. We probably could, but I don't want. We've built the Ultra to just be a simple machine that it's just going to run forever and ever and ever.
Yeah, and it doesn't have the stabilizer leg on it either, right? For the
no,
log
it
lift.
doesn't. No.
Greg Steiger, he says he doesn't even do firewood, but he enjoys listening and watching honest, hardworking people who are the backbone of the world. This describes Brad and Andrew and most in this community. Thank you both. That's awesome, Greg. I'm very surprised to see someone in here with this comment that doesn't even do firewood, but is interested in what we're doing here. I can tell you that in my experience through the 2 years that I've been doing YouTube, that the people in this community are exactly what you just said. They're honest, hardworking people who just like, they want to be successful on their own. They don't want help from anybody. They just like to get out and get their hands dirty, work hard, and make an honest living. So I appreciate that comment, Greg. Thank you very much.
Alvin Adams is on here. He's wondering about the RPMs on his 24D. Alvin, you can run them you can run it wide open. It'll run around 3,000 RPM, and that's wide open. You'd have no problem running it there at all. But run it at whatever speed you're comfortable with, Alvin. It doesn't need to be wide open. If you want to run it there, you can. It won't hurt a thing. The pumps, the end, and everything's made for it. So you run it wherever you desire.
You must be ahead of me in the chat because I haven't even seen that yet.
Oh, really? I just seen Alvin come up here. I wanted to make sure I got back to me.
That's awesome.
He was a really great guy.
Chuck says that check over at Bill at Backspin Graphics. That's who does all Joe Barney swag over at Joe's firewood videos. He makes excellent products.
All right, on. We have a local company we deal with right downtown Perth. And they've been doing it for years. It's Elite Engraving, and I don't know if Jim's still doing it, whether they sold or not, but very, 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 very particular on the quality of the products that they make. Like I've had them like give me like free hats. Says, oh well, this little part was a little bit screwed up, and I don't know if you'd be able to see it with a magnifying glass. But they're just very particular in what they do.
Dirt Road Landing wants to know how far you are from Bucking.
A long ways. 5,000 miles, maybe.
Oh, wow. So he's way up there.
I don't know how far it is from me to Nanaimo. I'll look it up for you. Give me 2 seconds. I'll tell you in a second.
Well, while you're looking that up, there's another question here for you. About 20 years ago, you built a 4-way log splitter where an excavator hoisted up a 16-foot log on your splitter, where 4 large pieces were created. Whatever happened to that splitter?
You built a 4-wheeler where an excavator hoisted up on 6. Oh yeah, we've you'll probably end up seeing us do more of those. So they're the super splitters. We've had a pile of interest on them the last 3 or 4 months, 5 months. Just guys that get really big wood that you can't run through a chipper. It's too big for a chipper. And then if you have a processor, it's too big for your processor. So you're either going to buck it by hand and put it through a splitter or junk it, right? So you'll likely end up seeing those take off a lot more once we get going. From me to Buck and Billy is 4,749 kilometers.
So what's that in miles?
I
didn't know if you could do that off the top of your head or not.
No, it's gonna be about I say 3,000 miles.
Wow. So he's way far away from you then.
Oh yeah, I'm in the, and then that's a really fun thing about Canada is like I'm in Ontario. For me to drive and get out of Ontario is 20 hours.
Well, Ontario is a mess, right? Like traffic around there gets crazy.
It's just big, like it's huge.
Right.
Like it's Canada's a big spot. And once like, and it's funny too. If you look at the population of Canada, it's a lot like the map that we had, where like the entire Canadian population, I think 90% of the Canadian population is within 100 miles of the United States border.
Wow. So here's
something crazy like that.
One of your customers here, Tits812, says, Andrew, I've been waiting 13 months for my Ultra. Can't wait.
Well, I absolutely love the name.
Yeah.
You'll probably be getting it fairly soon. If you've been 13 months, you got to be right there on the list. We're about 13 months is what we're running, depending on what your zip code is right now. So you got to be coming up very, very soon.
The Dirt Road Landing says the Paul Bunyan live stream with Back 40 was awesome, and you guys hung out in the lobby of the hotel where we were at that night. But if we do that again, your whole crew has definitely got to be there for the live stream next time.
Oh, for sure. We just came in the very, very, very tail end of the Back 40 live stream there. We had a pile of fun. I can't believe the people at the hotel let you guys take over the entire lobby like that.
Oh, it got crazy. It got really crazy. And luckily, Dan was very forward and upfront with them ahead of time to let them know what was getting ready to happen. I mean, Jeffrey here saying you even missed the great alien invasion. After the live stream was over, it got late that night. And some people walked into the lobby, and apparently they were very, very, very afraid.
I did miss that. As a matter of fact.
Yeah,
I heard about it.
Yeah, they had face masks on. It was pretty crazy. Patty got some pictures. It was a good time. And Shive, I would
have just loved to see Shive there. That would have been crazy.
Yeah, Shive was letting them have it, and he didn't know that they were standing right behind him, and I kind of walked away from him and gave him a little tap on the shoulder, but he didn't get the hint. So it was pretty funny, memorable moment. gosh, I hope New York ends up being the same kind of vibe, because that was freaking awesome. Question for you, Andrew. What would shipping be to Washington State roughly?
$4,500, depending on what it is, $5,000 and around there.
Yeah,
It
that's
might end up being a little bit less than that when we get it on a truck. Like, we've been quoting guys like really high shipping rates just to cover us on them, because we got burnt really bad last year on it, just because we all the shipping prices we quoted last year, year and a half ago, right? And shipping something a year and a half ago to now is almost double.
Yeah,
everything's almost doubled. Because
Yeah.
I don't even care. I don't even care to make money on the freight at all. I need to make a little bit there for it to make sense for the guys to load the truck or whatever. Like,
right.
It needs a very small amount just to cover wages and stuff. But it was the shipping last year has been a pain. It's been terrible.
Iron and Oak says that you better book now if you're going to New York. I guess he got his room, and he realizes as well how slim pickings the rooms are there. So if you're still on the live stream and you want to get a room for the Woodsman's Days in Boonville, don't wait. It's going to be a good time up there, so I hope you can make it. Question here from Chuck. How big was that red oak we put through the 1222 when you're here? I'm thinking 30 inches. It was pretty big. That was a whirlwind of events that day. I don't know if you saw that video, Andrew, when me, Shibe, and Darren from Woodruff Woods were up there at Chuck and Deb's, but we put a lot of wood through that 1222 really quick.
I watched bits and pieces of it here and there.
Yeah, so that video, it was pretty much the same video on about 3 or 4 different channels. You just got to see different angles, but yeah, we put a lot of wood through that, and Deb was the second set of hands that I talked about in my video on Wednesday. Keeping the wood, the outfeed table clear of the wood, because me and Shibe, I mean, we were running. There was 3 or 4 of us running saws, feeding the 1222, and it was running the wood through just as quick as we could buck it up. So we got a pile of wood done there really quick. Bill said he just called the Fairfield Inn, and they told him $269 per night. Wow. Yep. It was very expensive.
Hotels aren't cheap anymore. There's no such thing as a cheap hotel.
I was a little taken back by the price as well, but I mean, it is what it is. So I booked a room while I could get it. I hope you booked the room there, Bill. If you didn't, I hope you find some place so you can hang out with us again. Hardworking man there, Heath. I don't know if he's still at work or not. It's 10:13. I think I have a 36-inch oak and a few more I'm going to put through the box wedge in some upcoming videos. 36 inches. What do you think the maximum size round you can put through that box wedge is, Andrew?
The biggest I've done is probably 40, 42.
Oh, wow.
You get something that's 36 inches around, like 36 inches across it. It's more a matter of personal safety than whether the machine will do it. Like the biggest piece we've done on a splitter was 54.
54 inches.
Oh, it was huge.
So I actually had that question come through my video this past Wednesday, is how big of a round can you put through that box wedge? And the 54 inches, I mean, I would think on the outside you got to resplit that, don't you?
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah, you're going to get a couple of slivers off the bottom, but then what do you do? It's so big. Like it's so big. It's not even worth it's a safety thing now. It's just too big.
So I got to ask you this question. Is it by design? Did you research this and like really study this? The way your log lift works on this 1222, when you pop that log lift up, it rolls that round in and stops it right in the rail.
It's just about perfect, eh?
It is. It really is.
It's a little bit of screwed. It was a little bit of screwed around to get it to do that, but no, it was planned.
Yeah, I mean, That other thing that I was running before your machine, I mean, you had to be very careful with that because it would punch you in the face if you weren't careful with it, because it would run that thing all the way up to your nose. I mean, you had to be very careful, but the way you got that thing designed, it lifts it right up and rolls it right into the rail, and you don't even need to put your hands on it.
Yeah, if you have something fairly straight, like, more often than not, you won't need to touch it.
Yep.
No, it was a little bit of screwing around to get the geometry and stuff right. Like, that's the hard part about doing that is like getting the geometry right to have everything lined up. Because like for the log lift, like you don't want to have it perfect flat. You want to go just a little bit past that so it'll roll this way, I guess.
Yeah,
but then you don't want to have it go so high that when it rolls right off the other side of the splitter.
Right. It throws it off on the ground, and then you got a whole nother problem.
Just stop in the splitter.
Yep. Mr. Scuba says, at what point is someone considered a big firewood producer? I've put over 800 face cords this year.
It's all perspective.
Yeah, I mean,
it's completely and totally perspective. It depends on. You produce as much firewood until you're content.
I think you can produce as much firewood as you can sell, right? So right now I'm in a position the last 2 years where I've run out of firewood and had to tell people no, which has been the most difficult part of this whole thing that I'm doing, is having to tell people no. They drive by, they know where the wood yard is. They drive by on the highway and they say, "What do you mean you're out of firewood? I see all kinds of stacks of wood there." And I'm like, "Well, that's next year's wood. That's wood that's not ready to sell yet. It's not dry. It's not seasoned." And, people don't understand, because most people around me, at least, that sell firewood, they split it and they sell it right away. I don't do that. I let my wood dry. I let my wood season. I won't sell it until it's ready to burn. But if you're having to tell people no, then you're not processing enough firewood. If you're processing firewood and you've got some left over at the end of the season, then you are where you need to be for the customer base that you have, I think.
Yeah, and it's kind of neat you say that, because we have local guys right in Balderson here. Willows is they're just a couple of miles, and then they have a processor, and they're really good at that. Those guys are incredibly good at that. They tend to price their wood at the point where they don't sell every stick of it, but it's close.
Yeah,
and it's a matter of if you're producing enough of it and you're running out every year, you either need to produce more or up your prices.
Yep. Yeah, and I think like for me in the beginning, I was on the low end of the pricing for what firewood goes for in my area, because I was just trying to establish my reputation and trying to establish the quality of the product that I have and let people know what I have. But I think I've gotten to the point now where not only the people I've sold to, but the people who have posted and commented and shared what I'm producing, people that have burned firewood for 30 years that are saying that this is the best firewood they've ever purchased in 30 years. Now I'm getting calls from people. I had 42 cords of wood to sell this year. I started selling it September 1st, and in 7 weeks I was sold out. So now all through the coldest months of the winter, I'm telling people no.
And it's a funny thing too, because there seems to be, they did a video on this, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 months ago, about the race to the bottom. And it's I don't know what the mentality is, but there's so many businesses, so many people that just try to sell stuff on price and don't care about the quality of it.
And they only stay around for a couple of years.
Yeah, and it completely and totally drives me bonkers. I don't know why you'd wake up in the morning and want to do half a job of something.
Exactly.
I have no idea how you could ever wake up and like go to sleep at night knowing that you did half a job. It would completely and totally drive me insane. And
that's the same mentality I have, and that's why, you and I are kind of in the same position with people. The demand is higher than the production.
Yeah, and it's the same as firewood. You do a really good job of firewood and deliver a good product to people, they don't mind paying for it because it's that much better, especially firewood. If you get dry firewood, if the stuff's seasoned versus wet, you're going to burn half as much of it and have half the aggravation with it.
Well, the
So
thing
it's
about
worth somebody paying double than them paying for a bunch of junk from Billy Bob.
the thing about firewood is like a lot of other things. You don't know what you don't know, and until you get a good product, you don't know that you've gotten a bad product.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah, yeah, and the other thing is educating your customers too, especially when you speak to them and talk to them. And like for me, the YouTube thing has helped out tremendously because we can do videos and connect with people and show them what the difference is in one machine or the other machine and why the product is this much better than the next guy, right?
Right. Oh, Shive's still here. You guys look thirsty. It's time for a drink. Cheers. Andrew's going to refill, I think.
Oh, I am.
Gosh, he said you're going to surpass the hardworking man live stream marathon. Yeah, his live stream went for a very long time. I was moderating his first live stream, and they were working through some kinks. It was their very first live stream, and I totally got it because I remember my first live stream, the nerves, the anxiety, and the lack of knowledge. So I offered to be a moderator, and I was kind of helping out with some spamming that they were getting. And it went on for a long time. So I understand that if people can't hang out, we are an hour and 22 minutes past our normal hour live stream. But there's still 159 people in here, so people must be having a good time.
They really don't care, I think.
Yeah, so I mean, I think you being here and being the wealth of knowledge that you are is contributing to this. People have a lot of questions and are gaining a lot of knowledge from you. I'm look at this.
Oh, there you go.
I mean, that was brand new when this live stream started. So
I almost had to go grab a PBR, but it belongs to my brother-in-law. He told me not to touch his PBR.
PBR, past blue ribbon. Is that even still around?
Oh, absolutely. It's actually half popular in Canada now, as a matter of fact. Have you ever heard the PBR song?
PBR song? No, I haven't.
Oh, you have to look up Scuzz Twitley and don't touch my PBR.
Scuzz Twitley?
Scuzz Twitley and don't touch my PBR.
All right, I'll have to remember that.
If anybody in the comments there has ever heard of Scuzz Twitley and don't touch my PBR, give her a big thumbs up.
Oh, super chat from Greg Steiger here. Thanks for the mention. My senior daughter also plays volleyball. Tell Taylor hello. Well, Taylor, I'm sure, is watching the live stream driving up I-95 right now from Prince George's County, Maryland. They should be home shortly, actually. It's only about an hour or so away. But you're welcome, Greg. And Taylor is a softball player and a volleyball player now. So both the kids are very – oh, Taylor already commented there. Hi, Greg. That's so cool. So I'm obviously still very far behind on the chat because they're already responded. Old Guy Firewood's still here. And he says, hotel for Friday and Saturday only. I'm looking. Yeah, so the show is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So I'm staying 2 nights, Friday and Saturday night, coming home Sunday. Sunday's, I don't know if the same thing for New York as it is for Ohio, but Sunday was kind of a slower day, right?
Yeah, so Sunday's normally a slower day there. Like there's not a whole lot going on Sunday. But if you want to come by if you're there to see stuff, talk to people, Sunday is a good time to go because you're gonna be able to get the attention. Like there's not gonna be 5 million people there trying to talk to us. If you want to come in, so Sunday's probably a good day to come if you want to have a visit.
Well, I can honestly tell you that at the Paul Bunyan show, I walked around the show quite a few times, but I spent most of my time around your booth there, and you had enough personnel there to pretty much accommodate anybody that wanted to talk.
Yeah, like, again, and we've been doing this a long time now, so we know we kind of got to have boots on the ground for doing that. Patty and Jeff were just absolutely amazing to have there because they know the products better than I do. I'm sure they do. And Jerry and Jeremy and Dad and Cindy were great. Stacy was awesome having her there. Like it definitely was a team effort when you go to that. And being in Boonville is good too, because like when we go to Boonville, I get a lot of locals. Like my buddy Carp will be there, Odie will be there. Like there's going to be a lot of people that know our brand and know me that are just going to be walking around. So that's a big help too. And then those guys are awesome. And then they'll normally come and hang out for a couple hours of the show and answer questions for people who run machines.
Yeah, and just when people like from a guy that is kind of fresh to this whole community, when people walk up, they're probably still fairly fresh in the process, and if they're looking at an Eastamate, they're probably stepping up from a lesser quality or slower machine, so
Yeah.
they don't really know a whole lot about it. So having somebody there that can take the time and show them and explain to them and teach them and give them some education on the differences between the machines is a huge advantage to the people that walk up to you at those shows.
Oh yeah, and the biggest thing for us is helping to educate people. Like, well, whether they buy one of our machines or not, like just giving them the knowledge and the tools that they can achieve their goals. That's the biggest thing. That's the most important part of that, is helping people so they can achieve their goals. And that's the point of our job of building equipment and getting it to fit the people, right? So
yeah, so that was something that I noticed. I was hanging out with Jeffrey a lot at the show and listening to him talk to the people that walked up and was trying to learn about your brand and your equipment. And the thing that I really struck me strongly with Jeffrey is that he said, walk around the show, take a look at the other machines, run the other machines, look at them, feel them, touch them. And when you make a decision, no pressure, we'll be here, come back and talk to us.
yeah, 100%. Yeah, absolutely. And that's the big thing with it. Yeah.
And there's no pressure. It's not like you're trying to push somebody towards your brand. It's like, here it is. It sells itself.
Yeah.
James says that he slightly bent the pullback arm on his box wedge when he put a 36-inch round through it. Is there an easy way to bend it back?
Yeah, there is. Just pull the box wedge out of it, and then what'll happen is you'll be able to put the pullback arm down, and it'll set up against it's backwards. It'll set up against the back brace, and just run the ram ahead a wee bit, and you'll be able to pull it back straight again, James. It's fairly. We have guys do it all the time, and it's one of those things that you can't really build it heavier.
No, I wouldn't think it can be much heavier.
Like it's well gusseted, it's well plated, but it's just one of those things when you get into a big round, or if you're running wood off the one side, you just have to be conscious of that if something splays out. So like when you're running yours, Brad, you'll know exactly what I mean when you get into it.
Yeah, so it's a U shape. It's not a completed square. So obviously there's a weak point on that outside edge.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, so you can't build it much heavier than you build it. I can guarantee you that. The question from Bill, do you have a cord amount in mind as a yearly goal? It's funny you say that, Bill, because last year I sold 42 cord, and I thought this year I was going to try for 50, but now I think I have an 80 cord goal in mind. I don't know if I'll reach that because, it's December, and correct me if I'm wrong, Andrew, but I feel like the old school guys always said that whatever you have cut, split, and stacked by Easter is pretty much what you have available to sell by the fall.
Yeah, I'd say that 100%. Yeah, that would be a good perspective of it. Like obviously some species dry better than others, but that's probably what you would be at, I would say.
Yeah. So here's a question from my buddy Grant Ulysses Demond. His nickname is Grant. He said, "Are you out of wood for this season?" Yes, I am. I've been sold out of wood this year and last year. So I'm hoping that for next year it's going to be a different situation. This East of May 1222 has put me on a whole nother level. And as long as I put the time in to process the wood, I should be in a much better situation for next season. Shibe says delivery isn't the problem. It's wood supply to keep the inventory. I need to reach out to some log suppliers. So Shibe, most of the time, I think he pretty much has a roadside stand. He sells small stacks and he sells bundles. He's not really into cord wood yet, but I mean, it's no secret that he's getting a upgraded machine and his production is going to skyrocket. So he may want to consider some cordwood.
He's getting a new machine?
Well, I mean, I don't know if he's getting a new machine, but from watching your channel, it kind of leads me to believe he might be. Question for Andrew here. He has a 511 on order from Peter, and he will be driving from Alaska to get it this summer. 4,300 miles. Can he get a couple of these cool hats when he gets there?
I'm pretty confident you're driving 4,300 miles. I can give you a couple of hats.
Well, Andrew, I can tell you that when you pulled up that map earlier, I noticed that there was no pins on Alaska.
No, there is actually. We must have missed them, but there's probably half a dozen splitters in Alaska.
All right,
it was funny. We had a fella drive down from. He met us at Oshkosh at the Oshkosh show. Really super nice guy. He came and bought a processor, and he actually ran a crab boat up there. Is what he did. And I think the crab season's not very long. I think it's 2 months or something. That he said. He said, "I guess 2 months."
They make their yearly living.
And he said it's 2 months of you're living on the boat, smoking cigarettes, drinking coffee. You don't sleep. You just go all the time, and you don't stop. And then what he was saying is equipment goes to Alaska to die. It doesn't ever come back out of Alaska. If it goes into Alaska, it never, ever, ever leaves again. It never comes out of Alaska. If it goes there, that's its final resting place.
Ted's leaving. He's having a good night. Good night, Irene. Blessings for a happy new year to all the Woodhounds. Good night, Ted. Saul Surgeon.
Good night, Ted. Thanks for coming out.
Yep, he's a great guy. He really is. He's a calm, cool, level-headed guy. He helps Joe out a lot over there at Joe's Premium Firewood.
I had a great visit with him at the Paul Bunyan show. I was really surprised to see Ted there. It was really great to see him.
Yep, he's just like you see him.
He is absolutely. He's just so great to get along with and visit with. He's great.
Yep. I don't know what this means from Bone Harming Hearth. PBR Hams Grain Belt. Do you know what that is?
PBR Hams Grain. No, I don't. I don't know.
I didn't know if that was a Canadian beer or drink or what.
No, I don't know.
TV wants to know what's your favorite wood to cut, split, and burn in a fireplace. Mine is walnut. So I think black walnut is the most beautiful wood for like a countertop or decorative. Like the grain structure of black walnut is beautiful. But I think red oak around here, it's straight grained. It splits really clean. It takes forever to dry, but I would say red oak. What about you up there?
I'm going to say the stuff that's dry.
The barkless, dead standing dry stuff.
That's exactly it. I have a lot of beech right now. I had a buddy of mine drop me off a bunch of beech, so I have a bunch of beech to do right now. We have a lot of maple. We don't get a lot of red oak. We get a little bit of red oak, but a lot of our firewood's maple. A lot of it's maple.
Yeah, maple can be great, and maple can be very twisty and nasty.
Depending on where you get it from. And if you get something that grows in the forest, it's normally always straight grain. You get a yard tree like what you get,
Yeah.
it can be small and look nice, and it can be just terrible to split.
Yeah, but beech is normally really, really good straight grain, easy to split stuff.
Yeah, and some beech you get is just wildly rotten. It's just terrible. A beech is one of those woods like ash. It can be really, really, really nice to split, or it can be really, 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 really dirty. Like
Do you have
ash
ash?
is one of those trees.
Do you have ash up there?
Oh yeah. We have quite a bit of it. Most of it's dying off now, but
So you have the beetle too?
yeah, we do. Yeah.
Chuck wants to know if we are going to. The Hardworking Man live stream was longer than our trip home from Bunyan. They did a 3-hour, 46-minute, and 39-second live stream. So I guess that's a challenge. I don't know if we're going to make that challenge. We're at 2 hours and 35 minutes right now. I mean, Andrew said he could go all night, but I don't think I can go all night.
I'm up for whatever. I'm just here for a good time.
I think we're having a great time. I mean, there's still 152 people in the chat, which is absolutely crazy for one of my live streams.
You guys are diehards. You guys are awesome. Cheers to you.
I think all the credit goes to you, Andrew.
Well, I'm not that special, believe me.
My
wife doesn't like listening to me.
She's already in bed, isn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah. Will Davidson said, I feel like I need to bring Andrew some great local to me Maryland stouts. Well,
now I will expand on this. I don't like microbrews.
I don't either.
I'm not a microbrew guy. Something that's hoppy, nope.
Me either.
Like I love Guinness. Guinness is great. Kilkenny is fantastic stuff. Like any like hoppy stuff, can't do it at all.
Yeah,
but I love Guinness. I can drink it by the barrel. I
totally agree. I don't like the real hoppy, crafty stuff. It's hard to drink, and I think a lot of people drink that just for the.
It's because they have fake beards, Brad. They're not actually lumberjacks and don't know how to run chainsaws.
Well, I'm not a lumberjack. I'm a firewood guy. I don't claim to be a lumberjack at all.
I know how to start the chainsaw. That's the difference.
Yeah, well, I watch these guys on TV and I watch these guys on YouTube. I mean, Buck and Billy Ray is a great example. I mean, that's guys that have done this all their life. They're hardcore, like tough, strong, like iron core guys, and I don't claim to be that at all. I'm growing a beard because I couldn't grow a beard for the entire 24 years of my law enforcement career. Donald Slate says I should be doing 200 cord. What do you think?
Well, it's a goal.
That's a big goal. So I mean, we're getting started in December here with the Easton Made, so we're a little behind the curve here for next year. But for the following year, I think we could probably definitely step up the game. How many? What do you think a guy that's doing it at the rate that I do it can do with a 1222? How many cord a year?
Depends on how ambitious you get, honestly.
I mean,
we have guys that do like crazy amount of wood with just the hand splitter, like a lot of wood.
I mean,
a lot.
To be honest with you, in the short time that I've had this machine, the 1222 pretty much runs itself while you're bringing wood to it, right?
Yeah. We have big commercial operations that just run splitters. That's what they do.
Look who's here. They're back from the Maryland basketball game. Who won?
Maryland.
Maryland won. What was the score? Do you remember?
It's like 76 to something. 76 to 60 something.
76 to 60 something. That's a low scoring basketball game, isn't it?
It is. I really like Syracuse because of the colors.
Andrew likes Syracuse because of the colors, he said. She can't hear you because, here, let me give you this. Put that in your ear. Right ear. Right ear. He said he likes Syracuse because
Yeah,
of the
I
colors.
like Syracuse because of their colors.
Yeah.
Did everybody have a good time?
Yeah. It was really crowded and parking that was not clear. It was like weird.
Did you guys get in there and to your seats in time for the tip-off?
No.
Oh, you guys were late.
There was like so many people. We didn't walk in there till like 7:15.
Well, that's good. At least there's lots of people out there.
Yeah, lots of people. We are way into overtime.
I know.
You see, there's still 150.
We were watching it in the car.
Oh, you were?
Yeah.
The whole time?
Pretty much, yeah.
Outdoors with this guy, Andrew says, can you run that 1222 over here to mid-Missouri? I've got some really big ash rounds that your box wedge would love. Could probably have done it in an hour. Well, I bet you probably could. Call Andrew. Let his crew will be back in here. Would you say on Monday, Andrew?
On Monday they're back. So you give us a call on Monday, and we'll get you one for Christmas next year.
Get on the list. Get on the list. He tells you 12 months, but it might be a little sooner because it might be
sooner than that. Yeah.
He doesn't want to disappoint you, so you'd rather be surprised than disappointed. George Solomon says he's out. God bless everybody. Glad you could join us tonight, George. Glad you hung out for so long. Still 154 people in here. Have a great night, George.
Have a good night, George.
Dick's heading out too. He needs to figure out how he can get to Boonville show. Paul Bunyan is for sure. Great having Andrew on your live stream. Dick, I hope you can make it to Boonville.
Thanks for coming out, Dick.
I think it's going to be just as great of a time as Paul Bunyan was. If you think you can make it, or if you're trying to make it, call and get your room right away. Chuck, if you're still here, I think he is. I think Chuck is still here. Did you ask them when you called how many rooms were left? Billy Bob's Firewood wants to know how many drinks I've got left. That's what's left of the bottle. It was brand new when we opened it. We're about a little more than halfway through it. I've been kind of milking it here because I've got a wedding to go to in Virginia tomorrow for my niece. So it's about a 2-hour drive away, and we're going to spend one night and come back on Saturday. And I'm off Saturday, Sunday, and I'm off Monday. The Easton Made 1222 will be processing wood the entire time. Chuck says he'll be bringing some Yingling lager from Pennsylvania. Andrew, have you ever had
stuff? Actually, normally when we're down there, I'll take on a good go with that.
Have you had Yingling before?
I've had Yingling before. Yeah, normally if we go south, I'll normally take on a go because it's probably the closest thing to Molson as you guys have.
I haven't had Molson.
I think you guys have Molson too, but
so Guinness is a little heavy for me, but Yingling I feel like is like the perfect blend.
No, it's pretty good. I don't mind that stuff at all.
Yingling is like a milkshake.
Yeah, maybe.
It's a little bit heavy for me. Ken Bauer says, definitely a Paul Bunyan live stream time, Brad. I hope you're having a good time, Ken. The Paul Bunyan live stream was a good time. Jeffrey said when he had the 1222, they did 180 full chords.
Yeah, so yeah.
But Jeffrey is doing it all day, every day, right?
Yeah.
And Patty's working at the butcher shop.
They kick ass almost every day. Yeah.
Patty's working at the butcher shop, but she gets away from the butcher shop whenever she can to come help Jeff.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. I think she'd rather be in the wood yard than at the butcher shop.
I'm just trying to think of like where we have like big producers. We have one guy in New Jersey. He does He's got a crew of guys that run the 2228 all day. The machines runs all day. Yeah. Every day, runs all day, every day.
If I could run it all day, every day, it would be no question that I could double or triple production. But I'm like 3 to 4 days a week in the yard. And James, I think, is hitting the nail on the head here. He said it isn't about the amount of splitting anymore. It will take you 3 times as long to stack it all.
Yeah, for sure.
So what's your opinion on stacking versus piling?
It depends on what you want to do and how. Like, depends on how you're going to load it, and what you have to load it with. Like the way that you're doing it, if you're stacking it, throwing it into the dump trailer, you're going to have a lot better product to deliver to your customer.
Yep.
You're going to be able to demand a premium product for it. You're going to have more time into it, but you're going to be able to demand a premium price for it. Where if you're dumping it on the ground and scooping it up with a tractor bucket and dumping it in without going through like a disc screen or anything, you're going to have, like in a dump trailer, you have 3 or 4 wheelbarrows full of junk, like of just trash. So that's the other, and like people don't like that. If they're buying firewood, they want firewood. They don't want fill.
Yeah. But I don't know if it's definitely trash. I think you can go through what you say is trash and separate some kindling, because I give away a bundle of kindling for every customer that buys a cord of wood. And that little bit of extra effort that I put into that bundle of kindling, I mean, it's like a huge surprise to most of my customers.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, for sure. And the biggest thing with scooping with the tractor bucket is having dirt in it. If you had somewhere where it was hard packed, like concrete asphalt, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. But if you're somewhere where it's gravel, clay, mud, you're gonna be getting a pile of crap in it.
Yeah. So Shane says, what does a cord go for in your area? So this is kind of a funny thing, because last year was kind of like my first full year of really selling firewood seriously. And I sold it for $240 a cord. And I was on the very low end because I was trying to establish a reputation, establish my product, and let people know that I was selling a quality product. And this year I sold it for $300 a cord. And every single person that I've sold to has posted either on my Facebook or sent me a text message saying it's the best firewood they've ever had. So I think $300 a cord is probably about the going rate. I might be slightly on the high end of the spectrum, but I'm confident that I have a superior product compared to the other people buying firewood in my area.
That's about on par with where we are. We're about 400 a full cord Canadian, so you're right around 315, 320 American.
Yeah. John at Frickin' Jeep. I'm surprised he's still here. John, how you doing, my friend? He said, do you have enough room to store 200 full cords? Well, you see in the videos the field that I have there, the property that we have in the wood yard, and I pretty much have enough room to expand as far as I want to go, to be honest with you. I'm stacking 2 deep on the pallets. Some people have suggested that I stack 3 deep to get a full cord for every 8 foot, but I like having that air gap in between to help dry the wood. I've got 4 rows right now, which holds a little over 40 cord. What are you putting on there?
Well, you got there, Andrew.
We got a surprise coming. Oh, the John Frickin' Jeep button from the Paul Bunyan show.
I always keep it close by.
Hey, he had that readily available, John.
I keep that close by, John. Hardly ever leaves my side.
Johnny
That's
says
right there.
Yeah, I mean, that was pretty quick on the draw there. Johnny says your labor bottleneck is all the time you spent stacking in your drying racks. Why not look at dumping it off the conveyor belt into either large firewood bags or totes? Well, that's a struggle that I'm kind of battling in my own mind. I feel like I could pile it up. I see people around me that pile it up. I don't think the wood dries the same in a pile as it does the way I stack it. I've separated myself from the rest of the firewood community in my area by doing it the way that I do it. So could I do more production and have a lesser quality product? Absolutely. I could have much more product, but would I have the same quality product? I don't think I would. And I think Andrew can probably attest to this. Could he push out more machines at a lesser quality? He probably could.
I could probably shove a lot of junk out the back door if you wanted me to. Yeah.
Yep. That's a great way to put it. You could shove a lot of junk out the back door. But if you take everything out the front door, I think in the long run, you're way better off. A lot of the firewood guys that I've seen throughout my life, they're here for a few years and then they're gone. And then there's a new group of people here for a few years and then they're gone. But if I want to be here for 10, 15, 20, 25 years, I got to have a quality product and I have to have a reputation. And I think that's the same.
You have to charge for it. That's a part that a lot of people don't understand. You have to, if you're in business, you have to make money. You have to charge for it to give yourself enough money that you can buy, that you can expand from 200 to 300 cord next year, or from your 50 cord this year to your 100 cord next year. You have to have the capital to do that.
Right. But I think if you're going to be here for the long term, you got to set yourself up for the reputation that you have a quality product and you take pride in what you're doing. If you just want to make a quick dollar today and be gone tomorrow, then you can probably do that. But if you want to be here tomorrow and beyond, it's a whole different business model. Bone Warming Hearth says, what's the down payment to get on the list now as versus 3 months from now, wait on my workman's comp settlement? It's like $500, isn't it, Andrew, to get on the waiting list?
It's only a $500 deposit. And we've had it like that on the splitters for years and years. I don't think we'll likely change that. We brought the processors up to 10%, but a splitter is still $500.
Yeah, so if you want to get on the list for a splitter, it's $500. And you got 12 to 13 months to save up to get your machine. So, freaking Jeep, what is your route to Virginia? I think that's for you, Andrew.
For me, if I'm going south, I take 81, and I was talking to Brad about I'd either go hit 95 above Baltimore or below it. So when I go to Florida here at the end of January, that's the way I'll be going.
Yeah, so it looks like February might be a day where we can all get together, and if anybody wants to stop by and run that 1222, Andrew might grace us with his presence and answer any questions you have, and you get to see the machine run. Tim Stout says $360 all day long in northeastern Pennsylvania, no complaints because of the quality. $250 to $350 in southwest Pennsylvania. Super chat from Will Davidson, WD-30. We haven't had one in a minute. Tip them back. It's been a minute. Cheers. I can't believe there's still 141 people here. We are going on 3 hours.
I didn't think you and I were that interesting.
I didn't either.
Apparently we are. Thanks.
Oh, gosh. It's crazy. I don't know what this means. Dirt Road Landing says almost $1,000 a cord. I don't know. I must have missed something.
I've heard of people getting big money for it. Depending on the quality of what you have and the clients you have for it, like you can go after that niche market and make really, really, really good money on it. We have lots of clients that do that.
I think it depends on like your demographics. If you're in the city, you can certainly demand a higher price than you can in the country. Iron Oak Sawmill says a face cord is a third of a cord. And that's a big misconception. I've got a video on that. I got to run out and take a leak real quick. I'll be right back.
Is that not a Rick? I'm sure a face cord's a Rick. There's lots of other names for it too. I'm not that picky, honestly, depending on what the how you want to say it or what you want to how you want to portray it. But a lot of people get bent out of shape over it. Myself, I don't really care a whole lot. Just sell it and be half honest about it, or that's all that matters. As long as you're giving people a product and then the right amount of product for a fair price and being honest about that. That's all that really matters. It doesn't matter what you call it, as long as people are aware of what they're buying. That's the important part of that, really. Who else do I have going on here? I'm a terrible host, eh? I'm not like Jay Leno at all, eh? You're back on, Brad?
I'm back on, but I don't know what I missed.
Oh, fuck, I'm terrible.
Jeff said, you two are like a kidney, a real pisser.
A real pisser.
Hey, we are 2 hours and 55 minutes in this live stream. This is a record for this this whole thing. I think Andrew might have to take a break here too.
Oh, no, I'm not going far.
Oh, he's not going far. Jay Holloway, a Rick face cord are the same depending how far south you go. I made a video on this a while back about Rick cords and face cords and full cords and, all kinds of stuff. People have different names for everything. I don't know how it is in other states, but Maryland says 128 cubic foot is a cord, and you have to sell firewood in either the full cord or a fraction of a cord. So you can break down a fraction of a cord as far as you want. I mean, a 1 cubic foot bundle would be 1/128th of a cord, right?
Yep.
So if that's how you want to sell it, then frickin' Jeep John says he has a cord to sell $500. Only want to sell one to cover my full cost. It's red oak, all heartwood over 3 years in the greenhouse. Well, that should be good to go, right?
Be good wood.
Yeah. Johnny says he gets about 240 on average for a quart. I've never heard of a quart. I think he means a cord, C-O-R-D, of mixed oak. 340 to 450. I think I'm a little too deep in the bourbon. 340 to 450 of mesquite, pecan, and hickory.
Cord.
A cord, not a quart.
Huh. You definitely got me there, Joni.
Johnny. I thought it was Joni too, but it's Johnny.
Is it Johnny?
It's Johnny. Yes, Johnny is in Texas, Craig. He was texting me today bragging about it being in the 70 degree mark.
Oh, that's actually today was beautiful here. It was about 40 degrees here today, which was for this time of year is really good. Like it's not uncommon for this time of year here to be that minus 10, minus 15.
Yeah, a bone warming hearth 4x4x8 is 128 cubic feet. That is a cord of wood. Jeff says he sorts our wood, cherry, hickory, and oak for the barbecue places and restaurants. Make the most money as you can. Jeff's got a great operation going on up there. And he's got a beautiful view
And he's
process.
always got a beautiful view. If you don't follow Patty and Jeff on Facebook for the beautiful views, you really should.
Yep. Absolutely. They post every day of their sunrises and their beautiful views.
He has beautiful shorts too.
Yep. He needs to start a YouTube channel. He really does.
Oh, I think Jeff. I think he'd be the talk of the town if he had the YouTube channel.
Yeah, and Jeff,
He'd make a mint at it.
I sent you that picture that he sent me about his new shorts that he's buying, right?
Oh, they look sharp. They look good.
Yeah, blue and orange shorts are pretty sexy. Dirt Road Landing says, Brad, did you plasma cut the edge of the conveyor yet? I actually did that yesterday. I absolutely did. I set the 1222 up on the stabilizer. I measured to the bottom of the outfeed table to get that measurement. It was right around 26 inches. And I cut that belly pan that I built for the conveyor so that the outfeed table will meet up properly with the conveyor. What do you think about, Andrew, what do you think about putting a little space between the outfeed table of the 1222 and the conveyor to let some of the scrap fall off in between?
There's a lot of different opinions on it, I'll tell you, and I don't know if there's a right or wrong to it.
I think Chuck does that, doesn't he?
Chuck might do that. I've seen a couple of people do that. It preference, honestly. Whatever you so desire to do and what works best for you is the right answer for that. I've seen it done lots of different ways, and like it's funny too because I always got comments on the conveyors on the 2228s, like when we put on SDK 24 conveyor on, about the wood piling up at the bottom of the conveyor. But depending on where you have that set and the wood falls off the conveyor, it's either going to fall one way or the other. And
right,
ultimately, it doesn't matter. It doesn't. The wood's going to go up, but it's eventually going to grab it and go up it. So it was one of the most infuriating things when I first started doing Facebook and showing the videos of the SDK 24 conveyors and the splitters running is exactly that. It drove me nuts.
So the theory that I have is that if I'm going to run the wood up the conveyor into my dump trailer and then move the dump trailer to where I'm going to be stacking it, I'm going to stack the wood right out of the back of the dump trailer. So any scrap that goes into the dump trailer is going to be left over, right?
Yep.
I can get rid of that very easily.
Yeah, 100%. Yep.
So
And I think if you do it that way too, it's gonna be easier for you to clean it up because it's already gonna be off of the ground.
Right. Yep. I can just take it to
where
the woods
if it's in between the splitter and the conveyor, it builds up there fast.
Yeah.
Really fast.
Right.
Like we used to do. If you look at like the early splitters, I might be able to pull that up. Give me a second.
Yeah.
I got another good one for you folks here. I can show you guys the very first Easton made wood splitter.
Oh, the very first Easton made wood splitter.
You give me a minute. I got
that was built in your basement, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Yeah. So Chuck says he lives a small gap. It helps to sort some of the scrap. He still wants a set of grizzly bars. So, I mean, I'll tell you right now, at some point in the next probably year, I'm going to order a legit conveyor from Andrew here. But I might try to fabricate some kind of grizzly bars to sort out some of the scrap. I don't think it takes care of all of it, but I think it takes care of a good bit of it. But I don't, like I said, if you separate that from the splitter to the conveyor, I don't know. I'm gonna have to work it out.
Yeah, it's a little bit of screwing around there, but once you get it, you'll be in good shape.
Thoughts about teeth on conveyor bar versus flat bars?
T-bar versus flat bars. The T-bar tends to be stronger because it has a rib in there. What we do is we actually form a paddle, so it's not flat. It's built like that. So then you have the structure of it, and it fits right over top of the chain. So that tends to work the best. There, I got this. Are you guys ready for this?
If you throw it up there, I'll put it on the screen.
Oh, I gotta pull that out of here. Where do we go? Are you there still?
Yeah, I'm here.
I can't hear you at all.
Can you hear me
I
now?
turned the volume down.
Oh. Craig
Are you
says,
ready?
what about the bars between the 1222 and the conveyor? I think he's
The
talking about
bars?
the gap. Like if you put a gap between the outfeed table and the conveyor, if you had some bars in between, if that would help.
Well, you just give me a minute and I'll show you how I used to do it. I'll see if I can pull this up. Can you see that one?
We'll pull it up here right now. 1 second. Here we go.
This is the long lost Andrew Easton YouTube channel. Can you see it there?
Yep, we can see it. Are you going to play it?
That's Easton made number 1 right there. And you can see the back of it. That's what we did. The bars are open the back of it. But what would happen is, depending on where you had the wood coming off it, and if it caught one of the bars, it'd bend them all to hell. And I think that's the problem with having them.
So you didn't
like that.
You didn't have the aluminum outfeed table. You had a regular, like, it was
all angle iron. It was open. Scraps and full of it, just like you guys are thinking. And it was a pain in the ass. It was terrible. Like you split for maybe, I don't know, an hour and be completely full of debris down here, and you have to scoop it all out. And then if you got a piece of wood like jam in the corner of it, it would completely and totally wreck it.
Yeah, so you didn't have the solid aluminum table. You had the bars.
Absolutely, yeah. And like that splitter there that's in that video, that's number 1.
Wow.
No, that's the very first Easton made wood splitter right there.
Wow.
And it was cold that day. It had to be, I think it was -30 that day. Like no word of a lie. I think it was -30. We were at a buddy's place splitting as well. My buddy Brian, right here.
So here's your great YouTube name, Tits812. He's got 2 questions. When he gets his new Ultra, how often should he change the engine oil and the hydraulic oil?
The hydraulic oil really doesn't need to be changed on them very often. Unless they're milky or dirty, I wouldn't worry a whole lot about it. And they're sealed systems, unless it's got really hot and you've burnt it, which won't happen. Like unless there's a relief valve stuck or something, or you've left the cap open on it. That'd be about the only reason you change the hydraulic oil. And then the engine oil, I just follow whatever the Briggs manual says. I think it's standard 50 hours or 200 hours, or I'm not quite sure what the Briggs manual says. I did do a video on that, on what needs to be done there. So
yeah, and that manual comes with your splitter.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
The Hog's Log says he fell asleep on the couch, woke up, and we're still here.
That's funny. We haven't gone nowhere.
Shive's got a question. He says, Andrew, have you changed all your conveyor to the same upgrade as the Axis?
Yeah, pretty well all of them. The standard, I guess, TKs are still the same, and the ones on the back processors are the same, but they seem to perform well, so there's no point in changing them.
Walter Gregory says he got a beaver hat from Kenny at the Frenzy. It came in handy last week. Did you see those hats that Kenny?
Oh, they were great. They were beautiful.
Oh, gosh. Andy thinks I look like I'm hurting. Have you ever drank that much bourbon in one night, Andrew?
Myself, no. I don't drink bourbon. I don't drink hard alcohol even
See, I don't drink beer because it gives me a headache.
Oh, well, that's a good reason not to drink beer then.
But if you drink good bourbon, like good quality bourbon, it's almost like moonshine. If it's quality, clean alcohol, it doesn't give you a headache.
No, I don't drink hard alcohol at all.
Chuck wants to know what
it goes in and the brains go out the other side. So that's why I don't drink.
That's like Shive. Shive can't drink dark liquor.
I could probably see that. Yeah.
Yeah, he has to drink the flavored water because if he drinks hard alcohol, it probably gets ugly.
Yeah, no, I'm the same way. I don't drink hard alcohol at all, just for that reason.
Do you still
I'm not very pleasant.
Do you still know where number one is?
Easton Made Wood Splitter number one is you know what? It might be in Ohio now.
Ohio.
Yeah, it might be in Ohio now. I had sold it to an Amish lad that was in North Bay. So North Bay is about 4 hours north of me. There's not much going on in North Bay. North Bay is it's almost the last. You have Tim and Sudbury above that. After that in Ontario, there's not a whole lot left for any amount of population at all. But it went to North Bay. Two Amish lads in North Bay bought it. The guy's name was Marty Hofstetter.
Wow, you remember his name. See, that's awesome right there that you remember that guy's name.
Oh, I remember Marty Hofstetter. I dropped it off to him on Groundhog's Day in 2015. It was February 2nd, 2015. I drove it up there. I must have went through about for first one I ever built. And you go to remember, I didn't have any money then. I just had enough money to build the first one, and not enough in savings and a credit card to build the first one. And we got about halfway to North Bay, and I had to go into Canadian Tire to buy more ratchet straps. He's all been busted. And it was cold, but it was cold that day too. The machine was half frozen time I got it there too.
But see,
if you look at that machine, it was built on 2x4s. It wasn't built on an H-beam. It was built on a 2x4 frame, and it didn't. I don't know if Marty had it for. I don't know if he had it for 3 weeks before he bent it too. Thank God he was handy enough that they were able to fix it up. And I talked to him. The only reason I know it's in Ohio is I talked to him in the spring. He wanted a skid steer splitter. He called me up and, "Hey Andrew, how are you?" And it's Marty Hofstetter. I'm not sure if you remember me or not. So yeah, I absolutely remember you.
Of course.
And he wanted a skid steer splitter. So I think we got him a skid steer splitter and sent it down to Ohio. He moved from North Bay to Ohio. Amish lads and super nice guys.
Well, I think that's one of the most awesome things about how big your company has become is that your hands and your name is still involved in every single thing that you put out, and your name is stamped on.
Yep. Yeah. No. Marty's super nice guy. Number two went to a couple lads in. No. Number two went to a fella in the east end of Ottawa, not too far from me. Went to the east end of Ottawa. Yan was that lad's name, and then the guy out in the third one. I have no idea how I talked him into buying a wood splitter because I was in Ontario. I was in Ontario when he was in Prince George, so he was out towards Bucking and Billy, and somehow I talked him into buying the third wood splitter. I have no idea how or why he'd buy a wood splitter off me, but he bought one, and I think he still runs it. I heard from him maybe about a year ago, and they still pound wood out of it. He just loves it.
That's awesome.
Loves it.
Dirt Ran Landing says Brad and Andrew, great team. Well, I'm team orange and blue right now. You know what I mean? Like you can't argue the fact that Andrew, as big as his company has become, is still connected to the very first splitter that he ever sold. Right? And if you watch his channel and you watch his videos, he's very involved in every single employee he has, every single piece of equipment that he sends out of his company, his name is connected to. So it's not like he built this company up, it's become big, and now he just collecting a paycheck and letting the company run itself. He is still completely involved and very knowledgeable in everything that goes out with his name on it. And I think that's the big difference.
Oh, I get bored. I enjoy doing it. I like it. It's a lot of fun going in now because like everybody, it's a really good atmosphere at the shop. Like everybody's really good to get along with. Everybody loves what they're doing. It's really enjoyable to go in and talk to everybody every day. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. So I think that the owner of the company being connected to the product that is being sent out is a huge difference, because once most companies, when they get big, like the guy that's in charge of it just sits back behind the scenes and collects a paycheck, right?
What the hell would I do with my day? I can only golf so much.
No, but you can watch your channel and look at your employees and look at the people that you interact with. Like, they know that you care about them and they care about you. And this is just coming from me, from a guy that worked a career as a state employee, where your supervisor is only as successful as the people beneath him. And if the people beneath that person are motivated and happy with their work environment, they're going to be more successful for the owner and for the supervisors, right?
100%. The atmosphere at work and whatever job you're at goes a long ways, and a lot of people forget about that. And I don't know why. I worked at a beautiful spot before working for myself. I worked at a factory in town here. Beautiful spot to work, absolutely amazing. It was climate controlled. You were warm in the winter, cool in the summer. Like, for a spot to work, absolutely amazing. And you walk in there and everybody's miserable.
Yeah.
Like, fuck, guys, have you not ever worked a hard job? Have you not ever gone out there and sweated, or been out there and froze, laying underneath something covered in hydraulic oil and in the dirt and the sawdust and mud and rolling around and trying to fix something because it's got to go? And here you are in a job that's wonderful and you're mad about it. Like, I never understood it. Nobody's pressuring you. There's nothing to be excited about. You just come in and do your job, and I don't know why you can't like the guy next to you. Just be happy for him.
Yeah. So you might not realize it. I mean, I think you do, Andrew, but the fact that you walk through the building every day and say hello to your employees has a huge impact, more impact than you probably realize. That just the fact that you can walk through and say hello and you know your employees by name is a huge difference than most companies your size.
Oh yeah, no, I try to, like, I'd like to be able to do it more often. Like, I don't, to say I do it every day and talk to everybody would be a lie, but like, I try, like, at least once a week I try to go through and like have a conversation with everybody, because like everybody that works for me is great. That's the thing. Like, they're all great people. I wouldn't keep somebody around that doesn't want to be there, doesn't have a good attitude. Like, I don't. If you don't want to be there, don't be there. We'll find somebody else. And I wish you the best.
Yeah, and that comes through in all of your videos, like the Christmas video. You walk through and you see the people standing around you when they gifted you those cornhole boards. I mean, people were excited to be part of that video. You know what I mean?
Oh, I had a blast. And the people that work for me are so good to me. It's just, it's a mutual being kind to one another. They're just great. Like, I couldn't ask for more in terms of the people I work with every day. They're great.
Yeah. And Andy Dampfly's headed out. He says, I'm out, folks. I got to drive in the morning, Brad. Andrew, thanks and good night. Cheers to you, my friend. Have a good night's sleep and safe travels in the morning. I got to travel in the morning too. I'm heading to Virginia for my niece's wedding. Reagan Jones has been here on the chat. several months in the past, and she's getting married. So it's going to be an exciting day tomorrow. Tomorrow evening, she's getting married. So safe travels to you, my friend. And we got a super chat here from Don Scheib. Thirsty Thursday, drink up, fellas. 3 hours and 19 minutes into this live stream. It's crazy. Goodness gracious. Don's still awake. Who else is here? It's the real says, agree 100% with Brad on that and Andrew. It's all about the work environment. It really is. I mean, if your people are happy, I mean, through 25 years in the state government, I can tell you that supervisors, if your supervisors are happy with, if you do your job, you make your supervisor's job easy, right? Am I not right about that?
100%. Yeah, big time.
So if your guys are doing their job, then you're happy, they're happy, everybody's happy.
But you get that one bad apple in there and you don't get them out of there, that's where you have a problem.
You have to identify that one bad apple.
Absolutely. And I think in something like the state government or a big corporate structure, it's so hard for there to be action taken on that. That's the hard part of it. Where for me, I'm not even ever rude or impolite about it. Just I'm sorry it's not working out. Like, this isn't the spot for you. Like, I appreciate you helping, but time for you to go home.
Yep. Hardworking man says at the next Bunyan show, he wants to have a YouTube channel cornhole tournament.
We should probably do that.
Well, I'm thinking that Heath probably has Rachel already lined up for a partner. But in my experience, when you have a cornhole tournament, you draw random partners. You can't come in and be like, I'm going to take over the whole tournament. You got to draw random partners, right?
Oh, absolutely. You can't bring the ringers with you, Heath.
That's right. So, Heath, if you think you and Rachel are going to be a team, that's probably going to be broke up.
And you don't want me to play cornhole either because I'm not very good at it. But if there's a tournament, you don't think I won't practice for 3 months ahead of time?
Oh, I was playing cornhole last night at my wife's real estate after Christmas party, and we won the first game, but we lost the second game. But we enjoy some cornhole, and if I know there's going to be a cornhole tournament either at the Woodsman Days in New York or at the Paul Bunyan Show in Ohio next year, you can bet that I'm going to be practicing up.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. I'll be right on my game.
Obi wants to know how long until we beat Hardworking Man's record. I don't remember what Hardworking Man's record is. It was 3 hours and 30 some minutes, I think. So we're not that far away. Somebody put it in the chat what the record was, and I think we will beat it tonight.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Team Eastamade all the way.
Team Eastamade, orange and blue. It says there's still 124 watching. We stay above 100. We're going to keep going. Gringo Pines. Hey, you're in here late, my friend. We are still going, and Eagle Rare is in the glass tonight. My favorite bourbon, Eagle Rare. That's what I shared with everybody at the Paul Bunyan Show on the Friday night live stream. You can't beat Eagle Rare. You just can't beat it.
I don't know if I've actually had bourbon.
It's an acquired taste.
I've heard it's a lot like Scotch.
I don't like Scotch.
You don't like Scotch?
I will not drink Scotch.
I've heard bourbon is a lot like Scotch. I don't know for sure, but
no, it's not like Scotch at all. Scotch is made from dirt.
I hate Scotch. Like
Scotch is made from dirt.
It is. It absolutely is made from dirt. Yes.
Yes. Bourbon is made from wood.
Yeah. So you burn the peat, you burn the wood, same stuff. Yep.
No, peat and wood is different. John says, if you're going down Route 70 to Virginia, you can stop by for a rest stop 5 miles off 70, John. Well, John, I'm going to message you tomorrow when I'm a little more alert and see if you're on my way. I'm only 2 hours from where I need to go for the wedding. So I don't know if I'm going to get that deep into Virginia, but if I'm close to you, I would love to stop and say hello. Gringo Pines, everybody's saying hello to. Timon is still here. Oh, here's your buddy, Tits, 812. Can I borrow your 1222 while you're in Virginia? Absolutely not.
Absolutely, man.
If you would like to come up here and run it, you're more than welcome to. I would love for anybody who hasn't seen or witnessed or been around an Easton Made wood splitter to come stand by it, run it, work with it, and see what it's all about. I will not lend it out, but if you would like to come here and run it, you're more than welcome to. Sorry, Andrew, if that's not good. The Hogs Log says, Andrew, are you hiring? I'll come work for 1222.
Oh, we're always hiring good people. Always hiring good people.
Are you looking for employees? I mean, do you have a problem with hiring guys, or are you short? Or
no, not normally. We pay pretty well for where we are, and the hours are good. Like we don't normally have a hard time getting people. Like very, very seldom. Very seldom.
I mean, when you have a good work environment, it's you don't have a high turnover rate.
No, and we don't, honestly. I think I've had one or two guys ever quit, and they had good reason. Like one guy was going back to the city of Ottawa to work as a mechanic. I couldn't touch that wage. Couldn't come close to what they were paying him. So,
Ovi says that he'll help run the cornhole tourney at Paul Bunyan this year.
Oh, perfect. We got a volunteer.
Are you guys going to still stay like where you need a ride back to your hotel, or are you going to hook up with us this year?
We've stayed in that same hotel, I bet you, for 15 years.
Oh, so you're staying.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So we need to change hotels, not you.
Oh, absolutely. We had a good ride, though. We had a good driver to bring us back, so that was all right.
Well, you were riding in the back of a Dodge pickup truck.
I know. It was a beautiful thing.
The ladies were in the front, but you all were riding in some pretty cold weather.
But it was in a Dodge, so it was fantastic.
It was a Dodge, but it was a Cummins.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Chuck says that he is drinking Tim Hortons, so he's wide awake.
Oh, perfect. You have to get they have a Tim Hortons red eye up here now. So it's a Tim Hortons coffee with a shot of espresso in it, maybe.
Oh, so he's wide awake.
And I got to come clean too. I actually drink the McDonald's coffee now.
Oh, McDonald's! I like Dunkin' Donuts. I'll be right back.
I drink the McDonald's coffee now because the Tim Hortons that we have in town here is they're both good, but they have become very, 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 very slow. So we've all switched to the McDonald's coffee, and you go through there, and the team at McDonald's is just giving her every morning. It doesn't seem to matter what time you go through there. I have to get up to go hunting in the morning, but I'm sticking around. Oh, well, what are you hunting for in the morning, Bill? What are you going out for? I know it's still deer season here for another 2 days. I'm not sure if you're in this area or not, but we have bow season for another 2 days here, and I don't think I'm going to be able to make it out. I'm in an indoor golf tournament tomorrow, and then Jeremy Bell Stag and Doe is on December 31st. On New Year's Eve is when Jeremy Bell Stag and Doe is. If you don't know who Jeremy Bell is, he looks after our firewood processors. So Jeremy Stag and Doe is on Saturday. So that's just going on Saturday evening. But tomorrow is a indoor golf tournament, which should be a lot of fun. Deer muzzleloader here in PA. Well, that'll be fun. We have a week for muzzleloader here. The 1st of December is when we have our muzzleloader.
Hey, Bill Irwin is saying moonshine is best. And I will tell you right now that what he brought to Paul Bunyan, you might enjoy, Andrew.
Oh, yeah?
Good, clean alcohol will not give you a hangover.
I have heard that.
Jeff saying I'm going to sleep good tonight. Val might be a little upset when I get inside tonight because we've got to get up early and drive to Virginia in the morning.
Has anybody given us a number on Heath's live stream yet?
I think it was 3:39.
Holy fuck, 10 more minutes.
Yep. Somebody put the number on Heath's live stream because we're definitely going to break that tonight. We're still at 110, so we're getting a little slim. I said when we get below 100, we're going to cut it off, but now we're at 108. So if you're still here, try to hang out for 9 more minutes.
Yeah, because I'm almost like that. That's the last cold beer.
The last one?
And it's almost empty.
Well, I can tell you that when Shive ran out of beer in Ohio, the Easton Made crew, Jeremy, Patty, Jeffrey, they like me and Dan from Back 40, we were like, well, Shive's only got a 12-pack tonight, so it's not going to be a late night. And just as he ran out of beer, Jeffrey walked in with a 24-pack.
Oh, well, there you go. Well, that's Jeff Ormus looking after you for you. That doesn't any better than that.
Right. Yeah. Chuck says he'll help out in your powder coating department, Andrew. 15 years experience.
Oh, perfect. He'll be golden then.
I didn't know Chuck did powder coating. Doesn't he work at like a furniture processing company?
No, I think Chuck's an EMT.
I think
like a paramedic.
Yeah, I think he does that, but I think he also works at like a furniture or woodwork, some kind of woodworking thing, I think.
Is there anything that Chuck can't do?
I don't know. Chuck, let us know what you really do.
You see, it's sort of like a modern day MacGyver, can do anything, eh?
He really can. He really can. And he's a wealth of knowledge in the sawmill community too.
Oh, absolutely.
Donald Slate's heading out. He said, night. Thanks, Andrew and Brad. He had a great time. He hung out for 3 hours and 32 minutes. How great is that?
Well, you're doing good, Donald. Thanks for coming out.
Craig Wilson said, Illinois has a law where we can only use a rifle, but single shot. So he's ordering a 450 Buckmaster.
Single shot rifle. That'd be kind of a cool season too, eh?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good that you make it competitive, right? I don't think you should go out in the woods and just be like having a super advantage over everything you're hunting. That's why I like to.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. There's got to be some sport to it, and like for the most part, if you're stand hunting and you have a rifle and you can't hit it in one shot, you better reconsider your choices in life.
That's why I'd rather bow hunt than rifle hunt. I really would. I enjoy bow hunting more.
I'd rather bow hunt.
Yeah, because
like the way that we hunt for the 2 weeks that the deer season is open, like rifle season, like we run dogs, right? So like if the dog's on a deer, the deer's not standing still when it comes to you. It's hauling ass. Like
yep. So you do a lot of pushing.
There's a lot of sport to that. Like you got to be you got to be right on your game, right on the ball to be able to get something moving at that speed through the bush.
So deer hunting is almost like duck hunting up there.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah. Like
you got a lot.
And there's lots of people that don't run dogs anymore. But you get a dog behind a deer, and it's barreling through the bush, and it's a lot of fun, especially because you can hear the dogs coming, right? So you know where the deer is, and there's a lot. It's a pile of fun doing that. A lot of fun.
James says, what's this live stream that you speak of on Hard Working Man's channel? Well, they did their very first live stream a couple weeks ago, and they had some technical difficulties, which is understandable because it was their very first time. But it went for a very long time. And I was their very first and only moderator on that live stream. And when I volunteered for that position, I didn't know it was going to go that long. So I felt obligated to hang out until the end of it. But it went for a very long time. I think it was 3 hours and 39 minutes, which we're only 5 minutes away from. So we're trying to beat that goal. So we're at 110 viewers right now. And if we can stay above 100 until after 3 hours and 39 minutes.
We beat this by an hour and a half. It was 2 hours and 9 minutes.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, honest to God. We beat that by a long shot.
Oh, I didn't realize we already beat it.
Oh, we beat it an hour and a half ago.
Oh, Jeffrey, is Jeffrey still here? Because Craig Wilson just said, can't keep them on the shelves, pretty much have to know someone. I don't know if Jeffrey's still here. Craig's still here, but I don't know if Jeffrey's still here. Oh, he is still here. Look, right there. He is a Ruger. I mean, we're 3 hours and 35 minutes into this with 111 viewers. I don't know why this is still going on. It's all obviously only because of you, Andrew.
I don't know about that. I'm not that interesting, believe me.
Well, I can tell you that I've been doing this live stream now for, I think, about a year. So 10 or 12 live streams, and we've never gone beyond an hour and 40 minutes, I think.
Well, we beat that one tonight.
Oh, by far. Here's a question from Gary. I have heard if your spouse watches 3 live streams in one night, you can have them legally declared dead.
Well, the good news is you've been here for 3.5 hours now, guys, and it's only been one, so you're all right.
Yeah. Hardworking man. There he is right there. He didn't think it was that long, but I also, in the middle of it, driving home. Are you getting off work, Heath? I'm betting that Heath was working 3 to 11 shift.
3 to
He
11.
said an hour.
What's Heath do?
I think he's a police officer.
Is he really?
I'm pretty sure.
Geez, hats off to you guys for doing that job. Hats off to you. That's absolutely incredible. You guys could do that job. I know I couldn't. There'd be no way.
Well, I can tell you this.
I would have that level of patience.
I started as a police officer in 1998, and it was a whole different world than it is now.
Oh, I bet it's changed drastically.
Yeah, the career that I started versus the career that I ended was totally different. It was like a different planet.
Oh, for sure it will be. For sure it will be, and it'd be so difficult doing that job now with the attitude of people and the perspective of people towards law enforcement. It would just be, I would think it'd be incredibly aggravating.
Well, I can tell you that when I did decide to retire, it had a lot to do with the passing of my father, plus the state of politics in the country and things that were going on. But I can tell you that the job that I started in the late 90s versus the job that I left was 2 totally different things. And in my exit interview, when I retired and I sat down with the captain and the major, and they asked me what I thought about the department, I told them, I said, things are a little bit backwards. You know what I mean? Like the people that do the right thing are the ones that get penalized, and the people that do the wrong thing and throw their hand out the window and give you the number 1 sign are the ones that have no penalties. That's the problem with the world right now.
Absolutely, yeah. That would be the tricky part of doing that. I don't know what I know it would be. I wouldn't have the patience for it, though. Not a bit.
Well, when I was young and when I was new and when I was invincible from everything that happened in the world, it didn't matter to me. But as I got older and I had a family and I had children, and life changes. It really does. Life changes.
Oh, 100%.
And you start to see the world a little different. Things change. And I
And
decided
it's funny you say that with kids too, because I've got 3 boys now, and then they're all young. And I used to race bikes and like 4-wheelers and stuff like that. Is they didn't have a lot of brains in my head doing it either. I didn't have any fear. I had lots of nerve to do whatever you want to jump. Let's go jump it. And I now just even seeing my boys on the bikes is just enough to make me want to puke.
Yeah,
it's almost enough like watching them do that. It's like
The wife and I and the kids were coming back from a after Christmas party last night actually, and we were driving down a road that I used to work routinely on night shift to, intercept drunk drivers, and it was so dark. And I told my wife, I was like, I used to work this road alone with like my backup was 15 to 20 minutes away. And I didn't think twice about it. But looking at it now, I'm thinking, I don't know if I would do that now. As you get older,
right,
as you get older and you have a family and you have children and your priorities change, it's crazy how you look back on life and you think about how invincible you think you were. And as you get older, you're like, man, I put myself in some pretty sketchy situations that I wouldn't put myself in now. Johnny says, I know I have plenty of stories from when I was a cop, but what's your funniest cop story? Is everybody here? Are we still on? Not sure if we're still here.
I'm here. Are you there?
I'm here. Rolando says we're frozen. John says we're here. I don't know what happened there. Andrew is frozen. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Andrew?
I pulled your leg.
Are we good?
I'm good. You good?
I'm good. Jeffrey says overtime. Are we back?
Well, I'm here anyways.
Maybe it's the God's way of telling us that we've been here too long.
Yeah, it's almost it's 11:42. I haven't been up to 11:42 in a long time.
Me either. I'm gonna walk in and the whole house is gonna be long gone asleep.
Oh yeah, I think the wife and the kids have been sleeping for hours now.
All right, everybody says we're all good now. We still got 104 here, so we got. If the next 5 people drop off, we're gonna shut it down. I think we've given away everything we had to give away. We gave the boots away. We gave the 2 giveaways away.
Is it time to give away the wood splitter now?
Are we giving away a wood splitter, Andrew? You shouldn't throw that out there. That might have been a mistake. Rolando says we outlasted the Thursday night football game. I didn't even realize there was a Thursday night football game tonight. Who played? The hardwood hunter said that my beard is still looking good at 11 o'clock.
Oh, it does. That does look good. Like for the first beard go, you've done an awesome job. Like, I've been growing this thing for like years.
Well, my sister, her daughter is getting married, and she was wondering if I was going to shave my beard for the wedding. What do you think my
something
answer?
crazy like that for?
What do you think my answer to that was?
You put that much effort into growing a beard that beautiful. Why would you cut it off?
Right. I told her I was going to let it go for 2 years. It's only been in a year and 2 months. So we got 10 months to go. So I did go and get a little trim yesterday. He faded my beard from my sideburns down and trimmed my lip hair. But I'm trying to let the length grow, so I told him not to touch that. Hey, there's a hard-working man with a super chat to hold out and beat the Iron and Oak live. I thought we were trying to beat the hard-working man live. What's the Iron and Oak live stream?
Yeah, if we would have known we beat Heath's record an hour and a half ago, we would have been all over.
So we beat the hard-working man live. What is the Iron and Oak live record?
I think we don't have like another 2 minutes left. Maybe I think it was 3:46 or something.
Hey, John says ZZ Brad. I'm not at that level yet. Billy Gibbons.
It's looking sharp though.
I met Billy Gibbons when I was still a trooper at the Ocean City Bike Week. He was playing. ZZ Top was playing, and I met him. But I'm not at that level yet.
We've got 2 more minutes left exactly right now.
3 hours, 46 minutes, and 39 seconds. Oh, so we don't have far to go. We're gonna beat it.
Yeah, we're gonna have the Woodhound longest live stream ever.
Heath said we've doubled his live stream. And Shive said 3 hours and 46 minutes. Look, we're almost done. This is not good for me tomorrow. I can tell you that
don't
right
worry
now.
about that at all.
My wife is going to be driving to Virginia, not me.
I'm out of beer, so I'm on the water now.
You're out of beer? Where's Jeffrey and Patty?
I'm out of beer.
Where's Jeffrey and Patty?
Yeah, well, I don't know where they are.
They should be delivering a case of beer to you right now. That's what they did for Shive.
Jeff dropping the ball on me.
Oh, gosh. Another super chat from Shive is still hanging out. You know he's still here. Tag me in for a bit. Shive. You know Shive's hanging out to the very, very end. What are you drinking there now?
Oh, we're almost at 3:46.
What was in that thing you just drank there?
That's just straight water.
I don't blame you.
Yeah. Well, we're almost there, guys. We got another. How about we go to 3:47? Does 3:47 sound good?
We're still at 102. What was the goal we were trying to meet?
We were at 3:46:39. So we got 10 more seconds left till we beat.
Oh, so we're gonna beat it.
Oh yeah,
Hey.
we made it.
Look who's still here.
White Claw. No, I don't have any White Claw. I'm not even going there no more.
Is Patty still awake is the question. Did you see Jeffrey's new shorts?
Oh, they look beautiful. He'll wear them well.
Jeffrey, I sent Andrew the picture of the new shorts that you bought. I'm sorry if that was supposed to be a surprise, but I did send him that picture that you sent me, and they are Easton made. They should just have the Eastern made brand embroidered on them. Gary's still here, and he said the girl rolled down the window and said to the cop, "How did you get here so fast?" The cop let them go. Gary, I don't know why you're still here, but I appreciate you being here. Jeffrey's
beast from the east.
Jeffrey's hanging
the truth.
And hey, Joe Gilbert is a school bus guy who is also a firewood guy, and he comes and sees me at my part-time job once in a while, and he said I got him drunk. I can't believe he's still here tonight. 101. We still got 2 to go. Don't drop off quite yet.
I'm not open to the PBR. I'm not getting into the TBR, Heath. I just can't do it.
Johnny says, Andrew, you should give hats away to everybody that is still in the live stream.
I'm gonna give the one hat away to the next person that drops out so that I can go to bed.
The next person that drops out, Andrew's ready to go to bed. 101 we're at right now. Patty's sleeping, Jeffrey said. Go wake Patty up, Jeffrey. Go wake Patty up and tell her I want to say hello to her. Super
10
chat.
more minutes. I'm not going 10 more minutes. Not a chance.
Shive wants 10 more minutes. Oh, we're at 99 now. That means it's time to shut it down. I want to say goodnight to everybody. Thank you for being here. This is by far the longest live stream that we've ever done. I want to thank Andrew for being here tonight. He's the total credit to him for making this the great live stream that it was.
Where do I send my address? Will Davidson. You're still on here, though. That doesn't count.
Gary says you're the top 3 firewood guys I really like. Thanks for everything. Well, I appreciate that, Gary. I'm just doing what I do, and I learned a lot from a lot of other people in this community. So the community gets all the credit. I'm just doing what I do. So thanks, Walter. Great live stream. I don't think I saw you in the comments earlier, but I appreciate you chiming in now. Have a good night, everybody. We're down to 95. We're going to shut it down. Have a great night. Thanks for being here. And we will see you on Wednesday when we run the 1222 and the conveyor with the modifications. Good night, everybody.
Good night, guys.